Hello, 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 family. Looking forward to a few people coming on in so we can talk about Uber Eats delivering marijuana to your house and whatever else you have on your mind. Click the link. Let's have a extra long lunch together. Hey, D Night, how you doing? It's good to see you. Are you going to pop up on this panel, my friend? That's what I want to know. I want to know, are you going to come up on the panel or are you just going to skate around in the chat? I got a lot of issues, or should I say, there's a lot of issues that have been rolling around the streets. I would love to hear your voice on it. I would love to hear what you have to say on any numerous of ideas. So let me know if you want to pop up and talk about Uber Eats and getting marijuana delivered to your house. I'm definitely willing to talk about Kanye West and his whole situation, but I don't find him that intriguing anymore because he's just out there, you know, doing whatever. His mouth is slick and irresponsible, and he's really not owning up to anything he's doing. He's pretending like it's all good and it's right, and it's no sense in calling him on the carpet for these particular things because you know he's doing them at such a rapid pace that he really can't be held accountable, and it doesn't mean anything when he is anyway. So, like I said, I'm willing to talk about it. Talk about it. I'm definitely willing to talk about anything that you have on your mind. So we'll let a few people roll on in here. Just know I'm back here if you're ready to click the link. And then if nobody joins right off, I'll go ahead and play some content because I definitely have some content always available for you guys. You know that. Um, I have a young lady who was a foster child, um, well, at least thought she was a foster child. She thought she was adopted, but she never actually was. Quite frankly, she did not learn her name until she was an adult. So I have that for you. And then I also have some content about a woman that was shot 17 times by her ex boyfriend's lover. And you know how it goes. People continue to connect with one another sexually after, the relationships, what, is supposedly over, but it was very dramatic. So I have some of that for you as well. So I'm going to give it a minute, let people try to come on up. If no one's available, I realize it's lunchtime. I will go ahead and play a little content for you, and then we can chime in at a time that's convenient. All right. Hello, 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 Epic Understanding family. I am Erica Atkins, affectionately known as Coach Love, and I have here with me Miss Dominique Legree. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
That is excellent. That is excellent. Now, I am going to put the title of the show on for everyone to see, and it is very simple how Dominique Legree turned surviving into thriving. A gypsy foster child now has a life she can love. That's a lot. That's something special.
Thank you.
So tell me,
how it is that Gypsy foster child can be something you identify with.
Um, well, I was placed into care after birth, and
Mm-hmm.
my mother, my biological mother, she had a drug problem, so I was
Mm-hmm.
in care after I was born. So once I was well, I went with my foster mother that I consider to be my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
she's the one who really raised me.
Mm-hmm.
She took me in about 2 weeks old. I was able to
Okay.
little about 2 weeks after I was born. And I was with her up until I was 16. So I always, less complicated. I would say that I was adopted because that's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. Until she passed and we found out that I was never legally adopted. She only had guardianship of me, that I was a foster care that just, um, she kept it going by leaving the state of New York. I was born in Brooklyn. So
Ah.
then
Ah.
we left Brooklyn, we moved to Texas, and we migrated to South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, so in various places within those states. We just kept it moving. I think she really just wanted to make a better life for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That
And
is.
she did that.
You want to know what? I really hear in there how much your adopted mother, your foster mother, how much she really loved you. And you know what? Wherever she is right now in heaven up above, I know she's loving on you right now. You know what? Let us say hello to some of our audience members. We have Stacy Walton, B Dub, as you might call her.
Yeah, that's my
Uh
godmother.
huh. That's your godmother, yes, yes, and we will get around to that because the reality is that to produce the wonderful woman you are, God gifted you with three mothers. Is that right?
Right,
Three mothers. Mm-hmm.
my
And
mother raised
we
me.
have hmm.
I said my mother that raised me and
Uh-huh.
passed, and then my cousin took over in high school, and then when I got to college, God helped me meet Dr. Walton, who I call D-Dub.
There you go. That is absolutely beautiful. So, although this is a story of strain, it is very much a story of triumph because no matter where you went, as long as you had faith, you were able to be encompassed by love, by motherly love. Is that true?
That's true. And that was something that I really knew that I needed after spending all those years with my foster mother. She
Mm-hmm.
she really became like the center of my life. She was the one that was consistent. We may have had financial troubles and we may have been homeless at different points or staying with people at different points or different shelters. But what was consistent was that she was always around. You know what I'm saying? She was always there for me. She always told me she didn't want me to go into foster care and bounce around. So she made sure of that I didn't bounce around. I was always at least with her.
That is amazing. Now you're getting some love from the audience. Donald Cummings just says hello and says this is amazing. They actually adopted six boys. Oh my goodness.
Oh, God bless you
Six.
guys. It really
Mhm.
makes it.
They're loving it. They're loving it. They're loving the idea of adoption. But so many people are unfamiliar with the idea of taking care of a child that they did not birth. And adoption is common, but the actual practice of it in your own home and in your own heart may not be as common. Okay. So I know that there was a lot of moving around when you were younger with your foster adopted mother, but then you got another opportunity to have a mother in your life, your godmother. Tell me about your college experience.
Well, I, I just knew that I just wanted to go to college, and
Mm-hmm.
I eventually decided that I wanted to do social work and to help other teenagers like myself. So I applied to different schools and I was rejected because I didn't have a birth certificate and my name wasn't on my birth certificate. So it was a little complicated. So Norfolk State was the only school that kind of missed that piece.
Okay. Wait, hold on 1 second. You did not have your birth certificate?
No, when my foster mother died, we were in a shelter.
Okay.
She got sick, she fell, I called 911, we took her. And so she spent 3 months in the hospital and I ended up sleeping with a cousin while she was there. And when she passed, I didn't have any documents. So I went to the shelter and I asked for a copy of her application. And that's all I had was a copy of my birth certificate. And when I looked at it, I had a birth certificate with no first name. It said Baby Girl Legree. And a baptism paper. So I was baptized and that had Dominique on it.
Okay, that's good.
And, that was all I had. So I needed to get an original. So they gave me an original, right? And of course, it was still no name on it. So I couldn't even get ID. I was 16 at the time. I couldn't get like ID from the DMV. All I had was that I was registered in high school. So I got a high school ID. And that wasn't final. But
wow.
So all of the schools kind of rejected me. They needed more information. I sent them the guardianship papers. I sent them the death certificate. They were like, you need a certificate, you know. So that was
have to hit a pause point because I would just want to celebrate your resilience. I want to celebrate your resilience in that moment because you were essentially being told no.
Yeah.
No. You know, you don't have a birth certificate. You can't go to college, but you had the wherewithal to keep applying and the wherewithal to keep grinding to get the thing that you needed. So I just want to recognize you for that and celebrate that characteristic in you because we are all going through struggles. But it is our wherewithal. It is that drive to keep going that is going to get us through to the next point. Okay, so you get to college, and then what happens?
I get there, and I don't have a dorm room. I'm in a hotel waiting list, and I go to class. One of my science classes. I'm excited, right? Because I wanted to go to an HBCU, and I have human biology. It's an evening class, and I get there, and there's a Black woman in there, and I'm like. Professor, a Black scientist, a woman, and I give her this huge hug. I'm just excited to be in the place. You know, I did tour high school, so I'm just really excited. And she's like, hello, you know, I gave her a hug. I didn't know this woman, and she's like, hi. She's like, have a seat. You know, she's like, see me after class. I'm like, okay.
So yeah, because you see this woman and you jump on her with love.
Yeah,
I love you. So you're a Black female scientist.
Yeah, she's like, see me after class, you know. It's just like so. I didn't have the textbooks for her class. I didn't have anything. So she's like, "Why don't you have the books so you can do like how are you gonna do my work? You know what's going on?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't afford the book." She's like, "Well, how are you gonna get the books?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm waiting for a program, you know." And then I start talking her ear off for about 2 hours. I was apprehensive at first, and then I talked her ear off. And she was like, I'm going to help you. You know, she was like, I have, you know, when you hugged me, I felt something. And he's a minister.
Okay.
And we started talking from there. And she said, you know, see me tomorrow. And I didn't have any like bed sheets or anything. At this time, I got a dorm room, but it was empty. Right. And someone gave me a sleeping bag. She came and she brought me like a comforter and a pillow. She's like, my daughter, this is like new. My daughter doesn't use this. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I can't pay you back. I can't take it. She's like, don't worry about it. And she said, matter of fact, come with me. And we went to Walmart. She's in the store like, okay, well, what do college students need? Oh, they need this. And she starts putting stuff in the shopping cart. And I'm like putting it back on the shelf. I'm like, lady, I don't know. I can't pay you back. And she's like,
oh, wow.
And I'm like, what? You know, so she was just, she said God told her to help me and she needed to be obedient. And I was like, wow, you know. and not very trusting, of course, with my just moving around and people pitying you, and they
Okay.
are transactional. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I do this for you, you do this for me, and so I didn't know what she wanted from me, and it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it wasn't anything really, and it took me years to really, really accept that and really appreciate that about her,
Mm-hmm.
because I was
So
trusting.
that is a real dichotomy that you have there. You admired her so there was something inside of you where you admired her so where you jumped on her and loved her, but yet you were holding back a little piece of yourself because of your past. You had been hurt. People had been transactional with you, and you thought maybe, just maybe, she wanted something more than you could give.
Yeah, I was like, what is she gonna like? You know, yeah. I don't know. I had been used to that kind of like being like bound to people's sympathy and pity for you, and so they're like, I just, I've been living babysitters or just kind of trading things for things just to get by and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So also you did not want to be pitied. You did not want anybody's sympathy. You wanted to be the queen that you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Tell me more. After you leave Walmart, what happens next?
I did it was able to get in touch with one of my adopted siblings. My
Okay.
mom that adopted me, she was in her like mid-50s when she got me, so she was in her late 60s when she passed, and she had
Okay.
children. And I had, a vague relationship with them, like. So I reached out to one of them and I said, like, hey, this lady's trying to help me, and he was just like, well, take her help, like,
Mm-hmm.
Dominique, you ain't got nothing to lose. And so I was like, okay. And I took her help, and then
Mm-hmm.
I would also not ask her for help more so when I needed it. So I did, take on a part-time job. I was doing hair on the side, and she would find out my grades would suffer. She was like, what, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was feeling bad about my grades suffering, and she's like, what are you doing? You're working too much. And I'm like, but I have to pay my phone bill, and I need food in the room. And she's like, well, why didn't you ask me? Over and over, this kind of dynamic between us. She would want to help, but I would resist it and try to do it on my own, and would be having a hard time. And she just remained constant, consistent. And I not that I had never seen anything like that, but yeah.
That is amazing. You are watching Epic Understanding with Dominique Legree, a story of triumph. So tell us, somehow along the line, you actually came to live with your instructor. Is that right?
Yes. I think it was like after like my second year, I couldn't afford to pay the housing deposit again, so that meant I would be on the waiting list and whatnot. And I just, first generation college students, my families, you didn't know what to say or how to encourage. So my cousin that I was living with, she was just like, well, I said, I don't think I should go back. She's like, okay, well, we got to find you a job, and, we'll talk about how much, pay with the bills. And so I told Dr. Walton, and she's like, hey, when, school starting, when are you coming back? I'm like, I don't think I'm coming back. I was like, I think I'm gonna just, work. Maybe I'll get into a shelter, find an apartment. She's like, what? She's like, do you have enough to get a bus ticket back? And I was like, yeah, I can buy a Chinese bus ticket back. And she was like, get the ticket back, and we'll talk about it when you get here, And so I was like, I don't have a dorm, So she said, you can stay at my house, and she literally drove me to school every day. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, wow, and I stayed with her. And I was late to one of my first classes. She's like, you're going to have to tell this professor why you're late, or this may be a problem. And I was prideful, and I didn't want to tell her. She's like, well, if you don't tell her, I'm going to tell her. And she's like, I'm telling her, So she told the professor, like, look, she's homeless. She's staying with me, and I work here, but my first, I live far. She was like, so she's late. And she's like, Dominique, you know, the professor was like, why didn't you tell me? I know somebody in housing. You know, so I just realized like it's okay to ask for help and don't be ashamed. But I was, you know, and the woman called someone, and someone had just like moved out of their dorm, and I got a room on campus. So after I graduated, I didn't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go back and stay with my cousin and, you know, figure it out from there. She was like, just say you don't have a plan. Oh, okay, I don't have a plan. And she said, well, you're not going back, you know, to Brooklyn. You're not going back. You're going to stay here. I'm going to teach you how to drive, and we're going to figure this out. And she literally taught me how to drive, which was a mess, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she sold me like her old car. She was like, give me $1. All right, well, let's go to the DMV. We're going to figure this thing out. And she said, because I can't take you back and forth to work. You're going to have to drive. She was
Wow.
like, back to New York. And that was the beginning. And I lived in her home, the biggest home I've had ever seen.
Uh-huh.
Said that, you know, material things are what you need to show love and help someone. But I had just never been around the kind of things that she had. I was like, oh, wow. You know. You know, even trying to like clean or do leisurely things, I like accidentally damaged, you know, things in her home.
Oh my goodness.
This chemical, you know, but I didn't know. I'm used to the projects, bleach. And she's like, you can't put bleach on this and that, you know, learning these different things. I had never been around granite countertops and these kind of, she's lovely home anyway, but she opened her home to me, and I stayed there, and I got my first job in social work.
Mm-hmm.
She encouraged me to go to graduate school, and I even got into graduate school, and I did a year. I think I have like a year more.
Mm-hmm.
That's stories for other days. I really appreciate her always encouraging. I could never. If you ask me, oh, you're gonna have a master, you know, go to get a bachelor's and do graduate school, I didn't know, you know, but that really wants you to complete this, and she supported me in that. So
that's amazing. So you're a woman now, you know, you have a child of your own, and now you're a mother, right?
Yeah.
What has your experience poured into your vision of being a mother?
It has been amazing because I really didn't want children.
Really?
No, yeah, I didn't, because I was afraid that I would like mess them up. I was like, I don't think I've had any good examples, you know, environmentally. And, you know, I said, I don't want children. And, you know, Dr. D-Dub was like, what makes you think you have a choice? You know, she was encouraging me. She's like, we are here to, you know, bring forth new life. And, you know, she really, you know, put that in my head, and I was just really afraid about it. But I finally opened up, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I could, you know, have, you know, children of my own. But I was really I would kind of screw them up somehow. So now that I am a mother, I realize that I'm not my biological mother. You know,
right?
She's doing very well now, but I'm not her mistakes, and I realize that now. I'm not the mistakes of my foster mother. You know, it wasn't perfect. You know, I say, you know, I love her and she loved on me, but it wasn't a perfect, you know, upbringing. You know, she had poor taste in men, you know, abusive, you know, living situations, hence us in shelters and things like that. But I realize I'm not them, and I have the ability to make choices that will serve my son well. Not saying that they didn't do the best that they did with what they have. I'm gonna do that, you know, as well, and I'm not gonna, you know, I don't have a desire to be fighting, you know, be with the man that is abusing me, and
Mhm.
put my son through that, or try to numb myself with. I'm not judging the women, in my life, but I just feel like I won't screw my child up. I feel so much different. I want
Mhm.
wanting
Mhm.
kids to just wanting more, right? I'm like, oh, I think I could have another.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Now you said something that I just want to back up over because I believe that that is a lesson that we all can learn, not just if we're adopted or come from a troubled family or something like that, that we are not other people's mistakes. That is so insightful.
Yeah, you're not bound to make those same mistakes. Just because you've been exposed to it, you can choose differently, and you will instinctively. But
Mhm.
I really was worried about that.
Absolutely. And something else that I've learned from your story is, or at least been reminded of, is not to live from a place of fear. You're courageous, girl.
Thank you. I didn't even realize it until talking to D Dub, Dr. Wilson. She was just like, "So nobody here, in Virginia?" And I was like, "No."
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, "So you literally are here with $40 and a suitcase and an acceptance letter, and you have no family here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And when she said it back to me, I didn't realize how, she's like, "That's some faith." She's like, "You got to have some serious faith to do something like that."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "I guess I do." I just know that this is what I wanted to go to school.
So tell me, did you ever feel as if you were homeless or anything like that? Did you ever feel that way?
Yeah. Um, yeah. Even when I was living with Dr. Walton, it was hard to feel like I was at home. I always
Okay.
felt like I was staying with somebody. And I remember, like, even my cousin that I live with, I love you. We had like a disagreement. She was like, "You don't live here, you just stay here." And I was like, that really, that really stuck with me. Just being in different places, people helping you out, and they're like, "You don't live here, you just stay here."
Mm-hmm.
You literally knock to get in. I didn't have
Wow.
to places that I live. So when I moved with Dr. Walton, she really made it her business. She said, "Here's a copy of the key, and
Mm-hmm.
this is your room." And I was just like, "Oh, wow." You know what I'm saying? So, but it was still really hard for me to feel like I was at home there. I just felt like people just let me stay there. I have no home. So even when I did have like a physical roof over my head and it wasn't a shelter, it still was hard for me to feel at home.
So can you tell me, do you have trouble feeling like you're at home now? Is it real to you? Because you have your own things now.
Yeah. Now my perspective has definitely shifted. One, Dita was like, she picked up on that. She was like, "You're never gonna be homeless again, Dominique. Like, just know that." So you have the key to my house. You got the key to my mama's house. I don't even have the key to my mama's house. you know. And that really stuck with me. I was like, like, I took that in. Like, I'm never gonna be homeless again. That's something that I need to keep that, in the back of my mind. So now I feel like home really is where the heart is. I felt like that growing up, but the way my foster mother conditioned me was that, she was all I had, right? So my heart was with her. So home was with her. And then when she died, I felt like my world shattered. So, I had to shift my perspective. Like, home, home is where the heart is. And I needed to have peace inside of me so that no matter where I am, I feel at peace and I feel like I'm home.
Mm-hmm. You have to carry your peace with you.
Yeah.
You're a wise woman. You're a very wise woman. Dominique, tell our audience, if there's someone out there that is in a similar situation as you, what advice would you give them?
That it's okay to receive help. From you have to really, really find a way to to trust. I wrote a poem to Dida. It's called the hard-headed prayer, hard Christian's prayer, or something like that. But it was just me really asking God to help me trust that this woman is really, being obedient to him and helping me. I was like, help me, because I'm rejecting what she's saying, and I really think she's trying to help, but I'm not sure. So I would say, like, it's okay to receive help, and really the best way that you can say thank you is really figure out a way to do that for someone else. I used to tell Dida, like, thank you so much, and how can I repay you? I used to feel like that, like, how can I repay you? And and I learned that figuring out how I can do that for someone else is like, like, how can I take what I've learned from her and other people that have mentored me along my journey, what I learned, and invested and build with it, and figure out how to do that for someone else. And that's where I am now in my life, like trying to figure out how can I do what these women have done for me for someone else? Like, how can I do that?
That is amazing that you want to pay it forward. You know what I noticed about you? You have a lot of confidence. It is just, pouring out of you. And I absolutely love that about you. If I'm not mistaken, are you a business owner?
Well, I do natural hair, but I don't have like an official business. And I am gonna put out a book, but it's not finished. But not like an official LLC or anything yet. So, but thank you. I'm gonna.
Well, you know what? If it's not official, but you definitely are. You definitely have the skills, and you are performing those services. How can we find you regarding your services and your hair? Or do you make videos or anything like that regarding your hair?
A YouTube channel.
Oh, okay, great.
For natural hair, it's under my name, Dominique Legree. I have an Instagram. Same. It's all under my name.
Well, Dominique, be sure to drop that into the chat so that people know where to find you and how to support you, because surely you will be paying it forward. I know that is just a part of your makeup.
Thank you. I will do that.
You have been spending time with Dominique Legree. This might be the first time that you are hearing her, but it won't be the last. And it certainly won't be the last time that we'll have her on Epic Understanding. We appreciate you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me here. This is really a blessing, and it's definitely an inspiration for me to really, like you said, pay it forward and continue to share my journey so it can bless others.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And family, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Normally I'm really excited about the subject matter that I am bringing you, but I have to be honest. My heart is honored to have my next guest, but I am troubled and torn about how it is that she comes to us. To be very she's gone through a harrowing situation of pain, and really, always my goal is to find the God in the journey. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to listen to her journey, and we will continue to pray that God enlightens us on his purposes in this journey. Welcome, Nicole. How are you doing this evening?
I'm okay. Thank you.
I'm glad you're okay. But let me just say right off, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you because look at your smile. Look at your sweet nature. You know, this something big happened to you in your life, and you have not lost your style or your smile. I've noticed. I I have noticed, and I think that is a miracle within itself. And so, just to start off, can you give us a brief understanding of what actually happened um, to you?
Yeah, just like a short way of putting it, I was in a relationship almost for a year. Into the relationship, I found out that my boyfriend was cheating on me, and I kind of, he told me that it was a mistake, and I just was forgiving about it. But after I found out about the girl, she like never went away. Like she kept popping back up into the picture. She would come to my home harassing me, and she knew my address because me and him got into it one night. The actual first night that I found out he was cheating on me, I had kicked him out, and he texted the girl his location, and that's how she knew my address from the get go. And ever since then, like I forgave him, and then maybe like a month or two went by, she popped back up at my house again when me and him was there, and uh, that went on for about about 4 months. Just to pop, like she came to my house, and it would end in altercations. The police would have to be called, and I just around the time of the shooting, me and him was drifting apart. So I guess when he really started to really see her and stay with her, and that night of Halloween 2020, she had went through his phone and she saw a message that me and him was talking about getting back together, and we were back seeing each other, and she got really upset. She called my phone and was arguing with me over the phone and threatening me over the phone. And then later on that night, about an hour go by, I heard his car pull up, and I'm thinking it's him outside. And I go outside to confront him because I wasn't trying to argue with him inside the building and interrupt my neighbors. It was very late at night. And to my surprise, when I went outside, it wasn't him, it was the girl. She pulled out the gun and she shot me 17 times.
Wow, wow. So I'm almost, I don't know, at a loss for words because that's a big story, but we got to unpack it a little bit. We're going to get some pause points in there. First, you had a man that was cheating on you. He was bouncing back and forth with you and another girl. How long had you been together prior to you discovering that he was cheating?
So it was about 10 months.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how long had he been with the other woman?
He said it just had happened at one time because he met her at his new job he had started. So couldn't have been no more than, he met her like in September. I found out that they had intercourse in January of the next year. So yeah. And he told me it had just happened. Like, I'll never know the real truth, but I asked her one time because she was just so upset and possessive really quick. I'm just like, how long have y'all really been messing around? And she did. She said, oh, since December, this and that. So, you know, that part of it was true, you know.
Mm-hmm. 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 So, why do you think she got so, I don't know, invested in hurting you?
That I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we did have altercations. I'm not gonna sit up and say, you know, me and her didn't put hands on each other, because we did.
So you and her fought before?
Me and her fought. Mm-hmm. We have fought.
Okay.
She came to my home and she was beating on my windows and, you know, provoking me and him to come outside. When we came outside, she swung on me. So that's like the first time, like, we, you know, we had fought. And then another time she had broken into my house. She came inside. Mm-hmm. She knocked over my mom's vases and she was acting crazy. We fought that
day. She broke
too.
Into your house?
Yeah. The door was unlocked. You know, it was my mistake. I was the last person in. But that still don't give you no right to come into my apartment, you know? So, you know, when she came inside, she was telling her, come on with me, this and that. And, you know, he wasn't trying to go. And she started knocking over my mama's vases and stuff. And me and her started to fight then. And the police she was arrested that day.
Okay. So she had been arrested once for being at your house, creating a violent altercation with you.
Right.
Okay. But she continued to see this young man, and so did you. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And you continue to have sexual relations with him, and so did she, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, when she was coming to your house, how long had you guys been together at that point?
By the time she started coming to the house, me and him was about a year, a month in.
Mm-hmm.
About a year.
Okay. And can you tell me, how are you feeling and what are you thinking at this point?
About the situation?
No, about the situation, about your, you know, this man. I'm going to call him. What do you want me to call him? We don't have to have his real name. Whatever name you give me, that's what we're going to say. If you want to give me his name, that's fine. I just don't want you to experience any pressure.
It don't matter.
Brian. Okay. So what is your feelings about Brian at this point? Are you feeling like this is the man for me? Are you feeling like this is the best sex I ever had?
Now? Or
No. Then I'm trying to figure out, when this woman comes to your house and basically begins to stalk you, okay? Are you feeling like he's mine and I don't want you to have him? Are you feeling like I love him, I want to have children with him, I want to marry him? Are you feeling like this is the best sex I ever had? I am trying to figure out what is propelling you to stay with somebody that is devaluing you in this way.
At that moment, I would say, like, I was really just in love with him. He was the first man. You know, I experienced other relationships, but like with me and him, it just seemed like we just clicked and matched so well. And he did just everything that my ex didn't do. Like, he was very affectionate. He was the first man to tell me he loved me. And I mean, he was the first man I was going to have a baby with. I suffered a miscarriage with him. So, I mean, that was before she came about. Like, that was right before she came about. And, you know, it's kind of like you said, I did feel like, so for one, she knew about me. You know, he would go to work talking about me. In the beginning, he would take the phone calls from her in front of me. But then as time progressed, he started taking phone calls outside of the house. So, you know, for a minute, most of it, I did feel like, you know, he's mine. You're just not going to take my man. You know, I did feel like, you know, you're just not going to take him from me. Don't think you could just take my man from me. And it did become a sick competition.
Okay.
But, you know, now that I look back on it, I feel so, like, even talking about it right now, it makes me cringe, because it's like, what were we fighting over?
I wanna tease something else out, but I also want to say I don't want you to feel any shame about this. We all have to grow, and I'm going to readily admit that I have gotten into he's mine kind of situations all on my own. You know, I thank God that I did not end up, shot, but I've certainly had my share of those incidents. It's almost like it's a natural instinct, particularly when you are younger. You know, that first love, that first heart connection, there is no way in the world you feel like you were supposed to give that up. So please, no shame, no shame. But I'm thankful to know that you've learned from that, and you won't put yourself in that situation any longer. That's what I'm thankful for. Um, Now, I want to go back to something. When he was, when you guys were initially together, what were your living arrangements like?
I stay with my mom. So it's just
Okay.
me and my mom. I'm her only child. It's just me and my mom. When I first started dating him, he had gotten out of a relationship where he was living with a woman. He had just moved back to his mom's house. So he was living with his mom as well.
So he was living with his mom, and you were living with your mom. At any point, did you two live together?
No, he didn't. I mean, you can say that he was here all the time. Like he had clothes here, on the weekends he would really just stay here. But then, if he was off through the week and I was out, he stayed through here through the week too. So yeah, in the
Hmm.
beginning it was kind of like a living situation type of thing. Like, he did stay with me and my mom for a little, he was over here a lot.
Okay. Now, was he working and were you working
Yeah.
initially?
hmm
Okay. All
He
right.
didn't really, he temp job, he'd be employed for 2-3 months, and then 2-3 months he'd be unemployed, and
Mm.
yeah, he didn't really keep a job while we were together. No.
Hmm. I'm just curious, has he ever apologized?
When it first happened, he was so apologetic. Then as time progressed, like the narrative changed. It was like, well, he wasn't fighting her. Maybe she didn't do this. Maybe she wouldn't have done this. Or, like when I was saying, I was like, this is really your fault. Like I would have known. I would have never known this girl. He never liked when I said, this is your fault. He never liked
Hmm.
that, and it's just like he always want to point the finger. But well, you did fight her. Or
Mm.
that was between y'all. I told y'all it became above me. It was above me at that point. I'm just like, how is it above you when you're like the glue that pieces together? Like, I don't understand that. But in the beginning he was. I think because he thought maybe I was gonna die or I was dead or something. But as time progressed, no, he didn't even seem remorseful for it or anything.
Hmm. So tell me this, when you were healing from your injuries, and I just want to take a moment, I want to share these injuries. Is that okay?
Hmm.
All right. This might be a little graphic for everybody, so I'm just warning you right away. Okay. This is just your stomach area.
Yeah, it's just my
This,
stomach. Yeah.
you were shot 17 times. So there are
hmm
other places on your body that look like this.
hmm
Hmm. And do you still have bullets inside your body?
Yeah, I have a lot of fragments. Yeah. hmm
Hmm. Are you expected to experience additional health risk because of, what has happened to you?
Right now it's just trying to get my bladder healed totally so I can get it reconstructed. Because right now I have a suprapubic catheter. I don't pee normally right now. So yeah, that's like the last surgery that I have to have.
Wow.
Mhm.
Now, is she in jail? What's going on with her?
Yeah, she's in custody. She's in jail. She has another bond hearing coming up next month. She's had two, or I want to say three, back in the past, but they've been all denied. So, but she has another
Hmm.
one coming up next month. So, and she'll be pleading guilty or not guilty or something too.
I got it. So for those of you who are just joining us, what we have here is Nicole Jones. She was shot 17 times by her ex-boyfriend's lover. And really, I don't even know if that's the right description. I want to call it a love triangle, because he was, playing one side against the middle. It was quite harrowing, and he at this point has taken very little responsibility for the situation. Is that correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, did he come over and visit you when you first got out of the hospital? Did he take on any ownership of caring for you?
He did. Like when I was in the rehab and hospital, that's all we talked about. Like when I come home, we were gonna work things out and he was gonna help me. When I first got home, he did come visit. He was trying to have intercourse with me, and I'm just like, I can't have intercourse right now. So, I think that would make him ultimately really stay away, because it's like I really couldn't do I think he thought I was coming home like, oh, Nicole, like I was gonna be okay, like to do everything I used to do to him. Wow. And it's like, no, I'm like, he didn't really, he stopped coming around. Like, I remember asking him, can he just give me some food one night? He's like, can you get something delivered? I'm like, I can't walk right now. I can't walk up the steps to let the delivery person in. He's like, oh, it's like 40 minutes away, and nope, went to bed hungry that night pretty much. And that's when I was just like, you serve me no purpose. Like, I think I asked him one time to like take me to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Take me to therapy. Like, it just was, he had every excuse. So, I really felt so abandoned by him, and it broke my heart. It wasn't even after getting shot. People was like, oh, you really thought to talk to him again after getting shot? Yeah, I did. And it wasn't even the shooting that took me for me to walk away. It was just him abandoning me like that, It was just like, you really broke my heart. And I couldn't.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But it's like, I needed that pain. I really did, because it allowed me to know that, before this happened, I'm not gonna lie, I made that man my world. I grew up in church, and I know that you don't supposed to put no other God before God, and I did. I made him my world. So I feel like God needed to put me in a place to be totally alone and just know I can depend on him. I don't need anybody else. And it was then where I found the strength to really just cut all ties off for him and walk away.
Are you able to have children now?
Yeah, they said that I would probably have to go see. Yeah, they said I probably have to go still see like a specialist and stuff like that. Okay. But I still get my period and stuff like that. So everything sounded.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
Thank God.
I want to put this up here for you, and I really thank you for sharing your story. Although you're not a teenager, really, I want you to know that domestic violence is very high in teenagers all the way up into your early 30s. And so we have a researcher who's looking up this information for you and for our audience, so that they know it's not just you. And communicating this way is not what I'm going to call normal. I want to bring up Katha Blackwell, and she is an expert in this matter. And I'm also going to go ahead and bring up Sandra Golden. She actually recently wrote a book and experienced teen or young adult violence. And I'm going to go to Sandra. Sandra, do you have any words of wisdom for Nicole? You're on mute. Ladies, take yourselves off mute.
I truly am, like Coach Erica said, that I'm so proud of you in your ability to leave the relationship. That is difficult. For me, it took multiple going back over and over again. And it was, for me, lack of self-esteem. but also because I thought I could fix somebody. And for
Mm.
you, it was because you felt like this person was your world until you realized who your world was, which was Jesus Christ. And I'm so happy that you are alive. God has kept you alive for a purpose, for you to be able to tell other people your story in an attempt to prevent them from going through what women like you and I have gone through. So just keep the faith, know whose you are, and I think you're going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Katha, what do you have to share?
When it comes to domestic violence, every woman, every person who's in an abusive relationship has a level of tolerance as it relates to abuse, as it relates to disrespect. And it sounds like your level of tolerance crossed the line when it came to abandonment. The moment he abandoned you after you had gotten shot and everything, and he wasn't supportive of you, was the moment where, like, okay, this is a deal breaker for me because he's not being supportive. Whereas throughout the relationship, there were all these red flags along the way that this relationship isn't healthy, and it's common amongst survivors of domestic violence where you'll see that there's been several red flags along the way in the relationship already. So your story is not, there was nothing wrong with you. It's just a common thing where people have a level of tolerance. Some people will end the relationship after adultery. Some people will end the relationship after lying, cheating, or anything of that sort. Everybody has their level of tolerance. And so it's very important for people to know, what is your level of tolerance as it relates to your relationship? I've met women they'll deal with all kinds of abuse until something happens to their children. Or they'll deal with, all kinds of abuse taking place with their children until he pulls a gun out on them. So it's all about, what is your level of tolerance as it relates to relationships, and just being mindful of that, because we all have our level of what will we tolerate. We all have that level. So when you were talking, it just made me think about how intense those levels of tolerance are as it relates to whether or not we stay or go in a relationship.
I wanted to just be very transparent, and someone might be asking themselves, well, where were the parents? Where, you lived with your mom, he lived with his mom, and I'm assuming that she is not much older than you guys. So her mom, might have been somewhere close by. And I'm saying moms like dads don't matter, but trust me, dads do matter. So he's like, well, where were they? So can you just shine a little light on what you were experiencing in your home from your parents?
My mom really liked him. In the beginning, he just came off as a really good person. So, and I was really happy. So my mom, she was our biggest cheerleader. Like, she really wanted us to get stuff together, like get it together. She really did like him. But, my mom, I love her to death, don't get me wrong. But, the example I seen growing up with her love life, she was with a man for 15 years that, his job was living off of women. And I just saw my mom just always doing for him, and he never did for her, And I always vowed to myself that I would never be like that. And it was crazy. Like my mama was saying, she was like, I'm seeing so much of my situation in yours. And, and she was just like, I don't want you to be like me. And I'm like, I don't want to be like you. I'm like, I don't want to be like that either. But, she really couldn't guide. She could tell me, like, not to, like, live from her mistakes. But, she really couldn't really guide me on, what to walk away and do something. Because she stayed with someone for 15 years, And, like, as far as his mother, he spent a lot of time in jail growing up. Like, he was really bad, so, like, she moved him around a lot. Like, he had to move with grandma here, grandma there. So he moved around a lot, and then he stayed in juvie a lot too. And so him and his mom really wasn't close like that. Like, he really couldn't even stay there like that. That's really majority why he stayed with me and my mom a lot, because she didn't really like him being there all the time. And as far as the girl who shot me, mom, She from my understanding, after I got shot, I like wanted to know more about her, you know. So I was asking him, and he told me like her mom had mental health issues. Her mom was never in her life, and she had died like, I want to say maybe a year before she did all this. She had died. So she was raised by her grandparents, and her grandparents had died also. Like I think it was like back to back. Her grandparents had died. Her mom had died, like all in the same year. So.
Oh my goodness. Now we have Cindy Stanford, president over at ACEs Matter. Here she is. Actually, I'm going to bring her to the stage because you just described a deck full of aces. And I'm going to have her explain exactly what aces are. But before I bring her up, I want to reveal something to you personally, and everybody's going to get to listen. But the fact that your mom had a hard time in her relationship did affect you. And I lived something very similar where my mom and her idea of what a good relationship was affected me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you this quick snippet because I don't want to take over. I want people to focus on your story, but I want you to know you're not alone. When I was young, I had a boyfriend over. He was so bold and had become so comfortable that he called his new boo on our phone. Well, my mom picked up the phone and advised me once I got home. He was so comfortable. He was there when I wasn't there. And advised me and had already called his mother. His mother and my mother had already determined what was going to happen. And the direction was from his mom and my mom is that I was going to punch him. They advised me to give him an old one too. And that's just what I'm going to call what they knew as street justice, what was right. But what that ushered into our relationship was teen violence, abuse. It ushered that into our relationship. And just sometimes adults don't know what, they're just not the best people. The parents you have don't know everything. And I just wanted to say that to you so you knew that it just wasn't you. And I hope that helps somebody. Our parents aren't perfect, but they just love us anyway. And so we just have to love on them. But needless to say, I have Miss Cindy Stanford here for you with ACEs Matter.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, honey.
Hello.
I'm watching her beautiful face, and she reminds me so much of I have a 20-year-old daughter, and so my heart goes out to you because as I watch you tell your story, I'm literally watching my daughter. Like, this could have been one of our own, right? And so, through God's grace, you're allowed to be here to tell your story. So thank you. I wanted to share thank you for sharing your story. And then as I hear you talk about your experience as a child, the young man, Brian, is what we're calling his experience as a child, and even that young lady. I do this work called ACEs, and ACEs Matter is the name of the company, but ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And basically what you just described is exactly what this study says is likely to happen if there is not mentally healthy intervention for these children before it gets to this toxic explosion. I cannot handle being abandoned, being cheated on, so I'm going to react. And so what the study tells us is that if we know that children are being exposed to things like this in their childhood, whether it's abandonment, neglect, abuse, children need help early on if you don't want to see those behaviors manifest in their adulthood. So kudos to you for being able to have the strength to be able to pull out sooner than later, because obviously, when it is time for you to become a mother, you don't want to expose your own children to that type of lifestyle. So thank you so much for just having the courage to come forward. I can't speak for Katha or Sandra, but I'm going to assume, just based on what y'all shared, we done all been through it, honey. Like, I'm gonna be transparent, like Coach Love was. I was in a relationship in my early 20s, and I thought he was it. Like, married him and everything, right? And sure enough, he had a baby on me, and I was devastated. When I tell you, I was throwing stuff. Like, I realized that I stayed in that unhealthy relationship because I watched my mama do it my entire life. It was just kind of a thing, right? So in this relationship, I became the one. I mean, I didn't shoot anybody, but I'm gonna tell you, it crossed my mind, because that's how hurt I was by both her and him. Like, you told me y'all weren't messing with each other, and I just married him. I wouldn't have married him if I'd have known you were doing this behind me. Y'all said y'all were just friends, and so I felt so betrayed, Nicole, so betrayed by both him. But my problem in that situation was not only did I want to take my anger out on the girl. Sadly, I had a young daughter who might have been around 5 or 6 at that time when everything went down. She was witness to all of that hot mess, and I don't get a do-over. I cannot rewind, right? And so this is why I do that work, right? I didn't know, right? I didn't know that by her seeing so much arguing and violence back and forth, that it was going to change the architecture of her brain, because that's what ACEs tell you. Your brain's gonna start thinking that all you should do is fight or run or hide. And so knowing what we know now, that is what the science is telling us, is that it basically changes the structure of a child's brain when they're around that. So everything that all three of you have gone through, I'm not going to say that it's normal, but it is like expected, right? Like, this is what they told us would happen if we don't intervene. So definitely, I heard you on the show with the ladies yesterday, where you talked about getting mental health therapy, beyond just recovering physically, like being able to get your nervous system back where it is, so that you're not experiencing those triggers moving forward, is extremely important.
So, girls, I am interested in knowing what red flags specifically did you recognize in Nicole's story early on?
Well, one of the first red flags was the fact that he was cheating on her in their relationship. That's a red flag in itself. And he just kept this woman in this triangle relationship. He kept her in the picture. He never got rid of her. That was a red flag.
Another red flag for me was that he was bold enough to take the calls initially with you right there. Even though in the beginning he was saying, "Oh, we're just friends. We're just friends," but then it made it seem like, "Oh, I'm comfortable. She's not going to think anything because she's going to just believe whatever I say." But then eventually, the phone call started being secretive.
Right.
But that was a bold move to initially start, and that's a red flag. Them feeling so comfortable with the hold and the grip that they have on you, that control, that they're going to take those calls.
Mm-hmm. Cindy, what was your red flag that you saw?
The same thing Sandra saw. The same thing I experienced. Like, why she texting you this time of day? What you do? It was just questioning.
Right.
We're already on pins and needles as it is, and so that was definitely a red flag for me, or pink flag, whatever you want to call it. It was a sign from the universe.
Right.
You know what, in your story, and everyone knows that I have a heart for foster children. Okay. At the same time, when someone spends a lot of time in, she called it juvie, but it's juvenile, that tells me that they're not functioning in society well. They have difficulty with rules and boundaries.
Right.
They might have difficulty treating others well. Okay. To be very honest, that is my first, I'm not going to call red flag, but that is my first area of concern. you know. Also, you said he wasn't able to keep a job. That kind of goes along with being in juvenile. You have a trouble with rules and boundaries. You know, if someone can't keep a job, if someone can't follow rules, they may not be able to follow the social rules in a relationship, you know? So that is very concerning. And this doesn't mean the person is a bad person. It just means that they're not well managed. You know, they don't have the maturity that it takes. What's on my mind right now, Nicole, is forgiveness. I've already had a comment about your demeanor, and they said that you were peaceful. I agree. But what I want to know is, have you forgiven the people involved in this situation?
No. I used to have like a really bad like hate for her, anger for her when it first happened. I remember like sitting in the hospital just looking at her mugshot, just cursing her name, like just I was imagining I had a gun, I was just shooting her like how she shot me. But I just had a hate for her, and I prayed that away. Like I, said to myself, God cannot bless me with a hatred heart and soul. So I had to let that go, like, but as far as like I forgive her, it's like I feel like that's gonna take me a little bit more time. And with him too, it's just a real, I don't really forgive him too much right now either, but I'm working on it, I'm working on it.
Have you forgiven yourself?
No.
Start there.
Yeah,
Start
that's
there.
the best place.
Start there.
That's the best place.
So you said no, you haven't forgiven yourself. That makes me wonder, what does forgiving yourself look like? If you could imagine it, what does it look like for you to forgive yourself?
Like I live in denial a lot. Like I live in like, why did I stay in that relationship so long? Like, I hate that I even went outside that night. I just live in denial a lot. And it's like, it's a me versus me type of thing. Like I be down on myself. Like, and it makes me just sad and depressed. And I just like, just sit there and just be thinking about that.
When you say you're sad and depressed, are you sad and depressed because you feel like it's your fault? Are you sad and depressed because you don't like the way your body looks? Are you sad and depressed because, of the circumstance you're living right now? Is there, or is it just all put together? Does your mind go one way or the other?
I think it's all put together. Like, I worked hard to build my confidence up. I've been big all my life now. So now having my body, like, I look totally different. I have this line down my stomach. I still have like wounds. I still have like scars, and it's like, I don't walk like I used to, and it's just I feel so insecure. I feel so ugly, and I would say that's like a big part of it.
So I had the opportunity to say this the other day, and I'm getting to say it again right now. My mother recently had life-saving surgery, and my mother's skin is gorgeous. It looks like just smooth velvet. It's pretty, and people there, at church, there have been people just come up and touch her face, talking about how smooth her skin is. And so the skin on her chest is just as smooth as well. Now, the life-saving surgery she had to have left a scar, and it goes from, it's hard to do it, backwards, but it goes from right here all the way down to here. And her skin keloid, so that it's bumps, okay? that scar frustrates her and it makes her sad. When I see it and I run my hand across that scar, it's beautiful to me. It looks better than any makeup she could ever put on, because God saved her. And that is the evidence that God saved her. So it's beautiful to me. It is gorgeous to me.
Yeah, my mama says that.
Hey, there you go. There you go. So listen, I'm just saying, people who are for you, people who love you, that is going to be beautiful to you. And that might just serve as a physical boundary. What I mean by that, it is very hard to tell who actually loves you for you and who doesn't. If you get into a relationship with somebody and they don't find that to be beautiful, it might be an indication they need to hit the door. What's that saying? Let the door not hit you with a good Lord split you.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's just that is just a thought. I do want to roll back to how you're feeling, and I want to unpack this a little bit more. Are you feeling shame at all?
Yeah, I do at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm. And what are you feeling shame about?
I would say like my condition, you know. I walk with a walker and stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when I go out, well, you know, like when I'm around like where I stay and stuff, you know, people that know me, I feel like, oh, that's the girl who got shot, you know, when I walk in and stuff like that. Like if I walk into the nail shop or something like that, I just feel like all eyes are on me. You know, I do feel shame and those folks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to say a lot of power is in language. You are the girl who got shot. You're also the girl who got shot and survived.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them forget that part of the statement. I survived and now I'm thriving. You know, you are no longer waddling in the fog that got you to the point where you were arguing with a woman over a man. You're not waddling in that. You're very strong. This leads me to my next area of focus for you. Have you considered sharing your story purposely with young girls? Young men, to be very honest.
Yeah, you know, for a little bit, you know, in the hospital, I had nurses telling me, like, you need to be writing your story, like, you need to be getting this out, like, you know, and telling people. And, like, you could ask my friends, like, when it first happened, I didn't even want to talk about it. Like, you know, I didn't even like to talk about it. But now that I am talking about it, I found strength and healing talking about it. And just since the story have came out, so many women have came to me in my DM that's going through similar situations that I was in, and they like seeing like, oh, I don't want it to end up like that. You know, what can I do differently, this and that? And I'm telling them, like, take it seriously. Go get those restraining orders. If you can, you know, you see he's cheating, you see he's hurting you, this girl, he's not doing nothing to stop it, leave him alone. Like, you know, I can give advice that I didn't get, you know, or that I did get and I didn't listen to, you know, so maybe it can prevent it happening to them. And guys have came in my DM too, like your story to be right by my woman and to keep her close to me, you know. So I'm happy that, you know, I'm knowing what my purpose is, and it's to help other people through what I've been through.
Your story really highlights how important it is for people to realize that when you're in a relationship, your actions matter. Like what you do on the side, the different things that you do quietly or secretly, it matters. And so you can't just do whatever you want to do and think that it's not going to impact anybody. Because look, Brian may have thought that, oh, this is just nothing. She may be a side chick or whatever. When in actuality, look what happens. You could have lost your life over something that he didn't have to engage in. He didn't have to engage in that relationship altogether. And your story is so impactful. It should definitely impact men and women to see like this doesn't have to be your story. It doesn't have to be your story. Even with the red flags that you may have seen early on and different things of that sort, that highlights the fact that if you're in an unhealthy relationship, get out as soon as you can. Because if he's not able to respect you, value your worth, it takes a lot of courage to say, you know what, I'm just going to leave this relationship. Even if this is the first time I've ever heard somebody say they love me or show me affection in this way, we have to be bold enough to say, you know what, I'm more valuable than being treated like this, and this does not have to be my story. So your story is really impactful. It's already opening eyes. The people that are DMing you, everything, that's impactful. That's powerful.
Absolutely.
Nicole, I would add too, as whenever you do get to a place where you want to date again, the most important thing that we could do as women and men too is investigate this person's biography. Okay, and I'm not saying that we got to just turn away from people because they, childhood might have been ratchet or whatever, or out there, but it's really important to investigate. When I say their biography, I mean their childhood, because what we have learned from this work that I'm doing is that our biography, the things that we could write about, will become our biology. If that makes sense, right? In terms of what happens on the inside of our body to how we present ourselves on the outside. So it is extremely important, especially for young people, because I didn't have parents talking to me about, my worth and helping me build my self-esteem. And so I ended up finding my self-esteem by the attention I was getting from the opposite sex, right? And so because that might be missing in our childhood, we tend to ignore the pink flags or the red flags because now we're getting that attention that, we didn't even know we needed it when we were 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 15, whatever, right? So it's really important to know where the person that's trying to date you is coming from. Ain't nothing sexier than having a man that is mentally healthy. They hard to find, but you gotta keep looking. They hard to find. And the second thing I would want, especially people that are young people and are dating, because we've all been there, right? Like it's a thing, right? You never know what will trigger that other person, like this young lady, right? Like we have no idea how crazy or how unstable that other person might be. And so the partner is putting you in danger, or the other person in danger, just by playing this Russian roulette, right? So that's enough in itself to walk away. When you get yourself together, Mr. Brian, I don't know this girl. I don't know what she's capable of. And I'm not willing to put my life on the line while you try to figure out where you're going to sow your next wild oats, if that makes sense. So do it for 2 reasons. A, investigate how they feel about their mama, their sister, their dad, know all of that stuff going in, because that's going to tell you what type of person you're getting ready to date. And the devil is a liar. The devil is very, very deceptive. So that person can turn a switch and be whoever you want them to be in that moment. But you got to keep that in mind, so that you're not deceived because you finally found somebody that makes you feel good. The second thing, if they messing with somebody else, that other somebody else could be cray-cray. And you don't want to be in the middle of that if that person can't decide, if it's time for me to settle down or not.
And the thing I would like to say is, I know you're going through a lot right now because you're having trouble with forgiving yourself. You're having trouble with forgiving others. And you're having that shame and a lot of guilt feelings about what went on. Take the time to heal. Take the time to forgive yourself. I know for me, I was so angry till I was like you. I was angry because I wanted to hurt the person who hurt me. I wanted them to feel all the pain that they had inflicted on me. And mine was to the point where I was going on in my mind, and I was becoming, I feel like, unstable, because it was like, if there was a way for me to find a hitman or hire somebody to find me a hitman so that I could take them out or inflict the pain that I was feeling. I mean, those are the type of things that were going through my mind. And my thing was, don't dwell on it. Find positivity in it. Because a friend asked me once, she said she didn't know I had been abused, but she was like, I don't know, you're angry all the time, it seems. And I don't know who you're angry at or what it's about. She says, but think about this. The person or the people who you're angry at, and you're thinking about it all the time, and it's constantly going through your mind, it consumes you every day. She says, do you think they're spending that same amount of time thinking about you? And that was a wake-up call for me, like, so why am I spending all this time thinking about this person who has already hurt me and they've gone on to their next victim or to live their lives the way they want to live it? So take that time to heal, because what I had to learn was, I think I was more angrier at myself. I know I was, because of what you just said earlier. I stayed. Why did I stay? Why did I stay as long as I did? Why didn't I get out? Why didn't I pick up on certain things? And why did I let them pass? Take the time to heal, forgive yourself, forgive them, because more than likely, you'll never get the apology that you truly deserve. So you're going to have to forgive in spite of. And then learn your boundaries and establish those boundaries. What you will accept and what you want, and stick to them and make them known. But first, take care of you, date you, fall in love with Nicole. And when you fall in love with Nicole and that exudes, God's gonna bring you somebody, but at the right time, once you've healed and you've understood everything you've gone through. Because if you love Nicole with everything, then that's the type of love you're going to expect, and that's what's going to come to your way.
That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. Nicole, you have shared with us your scars. I'm going to put them back up here because they're very serious. I want to know, how can we pray for you and how can we support you?
Yeah, definitely just after all the prayers. I have a GoFundMe. It's I don't know if you could add the link in, but it's on my social media.
Can you type it into the private chat, because I'd really love to get it out there. I'm not sure. Oh, you have to, she has to go off camera to type. She's using her cell phone.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But that said, I'm wondering about the mounting healthcare expenses that you have to be incurring, being shot 17 times. That is massive. You still have shrapnel in your body. And so that is horrendous within itself. They just gave me your GoFundMe, so I got you covered. You can come back on. Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you. So go ahead and come back on camera. Do you have she is off. So what I'm going to go ahead and say is to please go to Nicole's GoFundMe and help her. She is very, very young. She just turned 25. This is very difficult. Nowhere along this line did you hear her mention her dad. Dads matter. Dads really, really matter. Not just because they're dads, but when you're in a two-parent household versus a one parent household, it really balances out things. It makes things a little bit easier. Incurring this kind of expense as a very young person, having this heavy debt on you, as well as the emotional and physical pain that Nicole is in, is just overwhelming. I could not imagine truly being in Nicole's shoes. Welcome back, Nicole. We did get your GoFundMe link out there. Do you have a particular goal that you are trying to reach when it comes to your GoFundMe page?
It's at 4,000, but anything someone can give will be helpful. I'm not able to work right now, so I still have like a car note and stuff like that. So anything that could just help me stay afloat with paying my bills, medical bills, and stuff like that.
So I'm just curious, approximately how much are your medical bills at this point? I mean, I'm sure they have to be enormous.
Yeah, they are. I mean, honestly, I stopped looking at them. Like, I was getting so many. I'm just like, I don't even want to stress myself out anymore. Like, I can't even give you a number right now. Like, I don't even know. Like, yeah, it's
overwhelming. Okay, so I'll put it, as a matter of fact, I'll put it in there twice. You know, I really want people to go support you, donate, and then what's your social media handle?
So I'm Nicole Jones on Facebook, and then I am Nick on Instagram. So it's Nick NIKKNICK_.
Okay, great. Because, there may be people that just have questions in general about this particular situation that, or you could be, helpful to them. And there may be somebody who wants to, bless you. So that would be wonderful if that would happen. I just thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being so transparent. My prayer for you is that God truly gets the glory. And when God gets the glory in this situation, all things, not some, all things will be healed, peaceful, and in place, because God is love and He doesn't make mistakes, and He will handle this. And so that is my honest and true prayer for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, my beautiful, beautiful audience. You are amazing. Thank you, girls, for hanging out. Katha and Sandra and Cindy, I appreciate you all. You guys stay tuned. I promise you, we will keep bringing you wonderful stories where God gets the glory. Bye-bye for now. Hello and good evening, Epic Understanding family. I'm going to tell you, I love the image of the advertisement. If you look to the left, you have this guy, this big, huge, strong guy, and he has his arms wide open, wide. And you want to know what? That's him. He's receiving the world. His heart is open. His mind is open, but he's wise. He is a wise, wise man. And I'm going to tell you, he don't have just book sense, y'all. He got bulk sense. And there is nothing like bulk sense, family. And so I welcome to the Epic Understanding stage our friend, Anthony, and best-selling author, I should say, Anthony Fakalli. Welcome, my friend. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That was
Did I mess
amazing.
around and tell the truth on you? Did I mess around and tell the truth on you? What?
That was amazing. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Oh, it's always good to see you. It's always good to see you. You know what? There's so many things I like about you. One of the things I like about you is that you do your homework, because on the last time I interviewed you, I had a question about women in the Bible, and you didn't shuck and jive your answer. You went to you went for it. And you not only did you give me a specific person, but you were able to explain why. I want you to know the teacher in me was like,
Wow. I love it.
Absolutely. So I am just proud and thrilled to have you back on the show. You know what, Anthony? How many books have you authored? I mean, my goodness. I mean, book. Come on now. What's up?
There's actually 7 books, okay?
Okay.
The first book, called Setback for the Comeback Coach, I wrote that after I got out of a rehab center in Jacksonville, Florida. Yes, that was probably the 5th time, or chapter 70,000 in Anthony's life, but 7 books. The first book was this big old 8.5 by 11, like a portrait, because I didn't know how to do margins, and I was self-publishing. So I called up the people and said, can you please walk me through a tutorial and show me how to do margins? And when they did, it was on. So I re-released the first one and made it a 2nd edition. So that's 2 books.
Okay.
And then I had Chronicles of Hope, which I was writing all these inspirational blog posts in the morning, inspiring people and pouring into people's lives. And people was like, I like those. So I took every last one of them and made Chronicles of Hope.
Nice. Okay, keep going.
Yes, and Discover Your Splendor, unleashing your authentic purpose and mission for your life. 7, including myself, authors from around the United States, call me, and we call ourselves the Fantastic 7 Mentors.
Wow, I like it. Keep it going. You're doing it. You are doing it.
This book called and along with that,
okay. Somehow, family, I think Anthony is frozen. So hopefully he will get it together. I might, you know what? Let me just call him, because maybe he doesn't know that he's frozen. You know, the magic of technology. So I'm just going to get him on the line, maybe tell him to log off and log back in, because you definitely want to hear what he has to say. I'm sure he doesn't want to be frozen. I'm going to give him a ring. And if need be, we'll interview him by phone. But I don't want that for you. I want more for you. I want you to be able to see his face as he expresses himself, you know, because hi, how you doing?
What's going on?
Well, I think we lost you.
Yeah, okay.
Are you going to log back in?
Okay, here we go.
Come on back, friend. Come on back. You know what this is? This is live. This is what happens when you are live. So we just improvise. We don't worry about it. We just come right back with it. That's all we do. No worries.
No.
Bam. Bam. Check it out.
Now I need to get back to my live over here. Let me see. Get back to my people that were on there live with me.
Okay, and then for the record, family, Anthony is also streaming live on his page. You know, we got a lot of we got simulcast on top of simulcast here.
Yeah.
What is that? That's multicast, multi-simulcast? I don't know. But we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on a bunch of different Facebook pages, jumping into some groups with what we're doing. So I want you to know, you guys, I appreciate you. Now, I do want to say this for you. If you want to ask questions, look, we done lost him again, y'all. He's frozen. He's frozen. But if you want to ask questions, I am going to encourage you to go to the Facebook page or go to LinkedIn so that we can see your questions. That said, if you are on another stream, that is perfectly fine. If you just want to hang back and watch us and you don't necessarily need to get your questions answered, then that is fine. I'm going to let Anthony know that he has that he's frozen, because I honestly don't think he knows that he's frozen. All right, come on back, my friend. Come on back, my friend.
I'm coming back. I don't know if my internet is tripping right now.
Yeah, you want to know what it might be? The weather. So maybe just stream with me, and I'll send you the raw footage. Send your people over to the Coach Love channel, and they can hang out and support you from there. You know, we'll show them some love.
Okay.
Bam! There you go. You back, friend. You back.
Oh my goodness, I need to get my people right here. It's okay. Let me see. Yeah, so I was in the middle. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it is all okay. There is no
good.
worries here.
Yes. So I'm gonna go. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm back.
Yeah, no worries, my friend. No worries. We're keeping it moving. We're keeping it smooth. Oh my goodness, he's frozen again.
What?
Oh, wait a minute. Here you come.
Okay.
You're coming back.
You got me.
Good. All right. Let's see if we can kick. You know what? You might need to plug into your Ethernet.
Wow, it's way on the other side. I need to rearrange my office, man.
Okay, we're not gonna do that. You know what? We're just gonna believe. We're going to believe that it is going to keep going. But you want to know what? We're going to ask the enemy, or no, we're going to demand that the enemy get up out of your your stream, because you probably got something that might actually save somebody's life, and better yet, might fuel somebody's purpose.
I believe that.
Yeah, because what you have overcome in your life is powerful.
Wow.
It's really powerful. And for you to be the successful entrepreneur and author that you are today, and at the same time got yourself mixed up in some of the foolishness that tried to steal your identity, steal your purpose, steal your joy, steal your leadership, and steal your future, but yet they could not. Baby, please, come on, give it to us.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. It was designed that way. That thing was painted up so pretty. And guys, I'm talking about in the 1980s. I'm talking about that epidemic that hit the Black communities, hit all communities, but it hit our communities hard. The epidemic of crack cocaine hit us so hard back in the 80s.
So let me just get this right, because people talk about recreational, drugs. What made you touch your first drug? What made you do that?
Well, about 12 years old, I could see I smoked a joint. I started smoking marijuana. It was around, and it was accessible, and we thought it was cool. Me and my boys, we steal a joint and go to the park and smoke it.
Okay. So looking for a good time, recreation.
Yes, just hanging out. Still want a daddy's
hanging out. Yes. So, just something to do. You know what? I bet you in your mind, your little 12-year-old mind, it wasn't no different than kicking a can.
That's all. Exactly. And thought nothing of it. And periodically throughout that time, 12 to 15, maybe dipping and dabbing and, mess around and still one of daddy's beers out the refrigerator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, so we had packs of, you steal one from your dad, I'll steal one from my dad, and we'll meet at the park. We thought that was cool. Hanging out, hanging out. And
wait a minute, playing grown folk. That's what you was doing. That's what you was playing like you was grown.
We was too big for our britches.
Yeah, man. That's exactly what happened.
So, and all through that time, come from a great family, Coach. My family is amazing. They're amazing. But that's my father, Dad was a disciplinarian. I'm the oldest of 3 kids. Dad was a disciplinarian. When he said, be home when the street light came on, he meant that.
He wasn't hardly playing with you.
He was not playing with me. And there were times where I was like, I don't think, is he really my father? He tells me to do all these things and take out the trash, and I got to get up and wash the dishes when everybody gets finished with dinner. He don't like me. No, he was actually teaching me how to transition from a male into manhood.
So hold up. Because you said something there that I don't want us to lose. You asked yourself, was he really your father because he was asking you to do chores?
Yes.
That made you feel confused as a boy.
It made me feel confused, but Daddy's approach was, go take the trash out. I said, take the trash out. There's no questions asked. You take the trash out. And I'm like, well, why do you have to say? Because if he didn't, me being hard-headed, he knew his son. I gotta reiterate it to him, okay? To take the trash out. That's the only way I understood it, because other than that, it's still gonna sit there. Even to the point where we raised goats. Okay. Yeah, and it was, we had goat milk, goat cheese, everything about the goat. We barbecued them bad boys, everything. And at the time,
goat tender.
Yeah.
Go. I done had some lamb, but I ain't never had no goat. Sounds cheapy to me.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, come on now, you don't know what you're missing, girl.
Okay.
So, that growing up, being a lot of times in the back, great cooks, a great line of cooks, men cooks.
Yeah.
I can throw down to the day, okay? So
goat.
Yeah, that everything, a full meal, not just goat.
Okay. No McDonald's for you. You're not doing the McDonald's thing. Okay.
Not anymore. No. And but throughout high school, I was a football, basketball, and track star.
Nice.
I never wanted to play sports, Coach. I loved the saxophone. And I approached my father and told him in junior high, I want to play in the band, Dad.
Okay.
And my daddy said, "How are you playing in the band?" It was that sort of a stereotype or a stigma. Only some of the sweet boys play in the band, but I love saxophone. He said, I'm not wasting my money on the saxophone. You're going to get your big behind on the football field. So I excelled in it, okay? I excelled in football, basketball, and track. And
nice.
I was pretty good.
Okay.
And so my senior year in high school, found myself at a rivalry football game, high school football game, where all these scouts were there from all over recruiting, not only myself, but that class that came out of there was amazing. My leg was broken in that game. Yes. Before that, I was the best thing since sliced bread. You know, I got everybody visiting, and after that, nothing. Crickets.
Wow.
Nobody wanted me at that point. So I ended up.
What? I just want to hang out right there for a second and say this. When our student athletes get injured, we need to really hover around their mental health. The reason being is I've heard this story over and over and over again, is that student athletes lose their identity when they can no longer play, whatever it is. If they can't run, if they can't jump, if they can't do the football, the basketball, whatever it is that they're doing. As a matter of fact, go ahead and put that on your book list. Yeah. Seriously, you know, identity in sports, because when a player gets hurt, mental breakdown is not far behind, or at least we need to really pay attention to their mental health.
You're exactly right, because after that, the blessed thing about my life was I love school. So education, learning things and being educated was not an issue for me. I mean, I didn't graduate top of my class or anything, but I did graduate as the most friendliest in my senior class, though.
You did graduate in what? You got a little fuzzy on me.
Graduating class.
So you were first in your graduating class, second, third?
I was the most friend. They voted me. My classmates voted me as the most friendliest.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I'll take it all day long.
Yeah. So no, I wasn't top of my class, but I wasn't the last either. You know. Okay. So after that, I did a little tryout at East Tennessee State University.
Okay.
And ended up one day of practice, leg aching, leg broke again, and going through the same thing. So my father, I come from a blue collar. Our family was raised with Thomasville Furniture, which is a national brand furniture.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I'm from Thomasville, North Carolina, where they made the furniture, okay?
Nice.
But we don't make furniture there anymore. So that's what raised my family. So I had to come back home and get a job and go to community college.
Okay.
So I'm dealing with all these resentments, okay?
Okay.
I'm dealing with all these resentments of I was supposed to go pro. Everybody wanted me. Now nobody wants me. Now I'm working a job. Now I'm working a job and going to school. Now I'm paying bills because Daddy said I need you to pay the light bill when you get paid. So there's rules in the house, and I'm like, you pay the light bill, Dad. You the dad. No, I had to take on the responsibility of paying bills, and so I started dabbing around town a little bit and got a hold of what I thought that I wanted to be this drug dealer, and I'm getting a hold of things, and it started out with making deliveries and take this over there to these people, and when you come back, I'll give you this amount of money, and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. Through the daytime, I'm working, doing my thing, making money. At nighttime, I'm hustling.
You want to know something? It really sounds like you rejected the process of becoming a man.
Yeah, you hit it on. I knew at 17 years old, God showed me what I needed to be doing. I've seen myself on a platform speaking to over 5,000 people.
Wow.
And I said, no way, that's me. Mm-hmm. So I got a taste of, I got high on my own supply.
Okay.
I got high on my own supply.
Was it ego or what was it?
It was ego and the obsession to feel like Super Anthony. The obsession to know that I'm in control because I got what you want.
So you wanted to be Super Anthony without doing the work of becoming Super Anthony.
That's right.
You wanted that quick fix.
That's right. Instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's mine and I want it now.
Right. You wanted the microwave success.
Come on.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Add water and stir success.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your dad said that's not how it goes.
No, that's not how it goes. That's
You got
not
to
how
pay
it
the
goes.
cost to be the boss.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
And you know what? All through my 30s, I have no recollection of what went on besides the fact that my body loved the way my dopamine and serotonin levels went 10,000 whenever I would put something mood altering in my mind, and it would
Mhm.
take me places that my body said, "What in the world did you just do?
Wow.
Give me some more of that. Don't even eat. Just give me some more of that." And you're on this journey, and you've awakened a sleeping giant in your mind and in your body and your soul and your spirit that never should have been awakened, because you already have inside of you producing naturally what you need to live on earth. God gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you want, people want to go get high and things like that, go run about 5 miles wide open. You talk about a natural high of adrenaline and endorphins pumping. That's your high. Your body has
You know
everything.
what? I would rather giggle, but
that'll do it too. I giggle all the time.
right. I mean, seriously, you get with some good friends and start laughing, and sometimes I laugh so hard that I snort, and so it's on. It is on. But I'm gonna let you run. I'm gonna let you have that run.
No, I'm not. Look, right now I need 2 hips replaced. Okay,
Ooh.
I just had a back surgery. I had my knee totally replaced after 6 operations on the same leg of playing sports. I have 2 back surgeries. Now I'm standing right now in a November of having a hip replaced, and both of them need to be done. All of this is wear and tear on the body of some lifestyle things, as well as some sports injuries. And I've driven 1 million miles in a tractor trailer. I've had a 28-year career driving, all over the United States, and I love that job, traveling.
So let me ask you this: did you take painkillers this time around, since you have a past history of drugs, or no?
I took painkillers, but I had them monitored.
Okay.
Yeah, I would let someone take my caregiver, my mother or someone close to me. I need a pain pill. That's fine. But I got to the point where they didn't work.
Okay.
And you'll hear a lot of people who are like me say, well, I didn't like pills. Pills wasn't my thing. But it still could have been addictive, because as soon as I took one, it made me feel that same way. And I'm like, I kind of like this. I ain't feeling no pain. So I immediately, I took them as needed. I didn't go, I was very well aware that this is my threshold of clean time. What I mean by that is, I was one of those guys that they consider to be a chronic relapser.
Oh.
I get a year or 2 clean, and that thought would come in my head, and instead of me using my tools, I would succumb to it. Or I'm like, and I have mentors and sponsors in my life say, look, don't call me after you robbed the bank, man. You call me when you're sitting in the parking lot thinking about it. You done got high now, so you can't. So that was a cycle that I repeated. So right now, I'm on the 5th year again.
Awesome. Yes. Congratulations.
Yes.
Wait a minute. So did you write all of these books in 5 years?
You know what? I did.
Wow.
I did.
7 books in 5 years. Did you create did your entrepreneurship start just in this 5 years?
Yes, it has. It has.
You know what? Wow.
It has.
Wow. And I mean, boom goes the dynamite. I'm gonna say that again. Boom goes the dynamite.
Wow. That you just reminded me of that. Mm-hmm. It has been 5 years. It has been 5 years.
So in 5 years, you wrote 7 books, started 2 non-profits, became a well sought after speaker, and you have poured into countless number of lives. Get out of here, Anthony.
Yes.
You better do your thing.
Yes. And I've received so many proclamations and received so many so many great things. They call me, okay, to teach the inmates at the jailhouse.
Okay.
Helping Men Recover group.
Now, I don't know this. Did you ever spend time in prison?
I did not spend time. I spent 23 days in prison.
Okay. How did that happen? Jail or prison?
I was in jail for 10, and they said, you're going to the county camp, man. And so I'm like, okay. So I did the rest of the time. It was a probation violation. I actually went to my probation officer and said, look, I can't stay clean. What do I need to do?
Okay.
And he said, huh? Are you crazy? I said, no, I can't. I keep coming in and my urine analysis is dirty. And what do I need to do? And he said, if you would just give yourself 30 days, you can get all this behind you. I said, take me.
Wow.
So my daddy told me, if you have to go, walk in. He said, look at me, son. Hold your head up. I mean, walk in. So I said, you know what? Let me man up. I need the help. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way.
Is your dad still with us?
My dad is gone for 4 years now.
Oh, wow. And you know what? I want to call your dad.
Yeah, that dude was amazing. Before he passed, he told me he knew he was getting ready to leave us. He prepared us, me and my brother and my sister and my mother. He said, my dad looked at me. At one time he said, can you please change your last name? Because you do not represent this family as the elder son. You making a mess. You embarrassing. That's what I said.
Ooh. Wow.
I called my father and asked him to come pick me up one night. I was in a neighborhood. I said, Dad, can you please come get me? He said, HE double hockey sticks, no. Are you a grown man? He said, you're a grown man. You got two options. The homeless shelter or the police station. I went to the homeless shelter. Saved my life. They gave me 90 days in the shelter. And I've always carried myself a certain way because people that's out on the streets would always say things like, man, you cool, man. You go to work and stuff, man. You ain't like it. We don't consider you a crackhead. I said, you know what? I'm just like y'all. I said, you know how hard it is to stay up all night and go to work. But if I don't go to work, I can't get paid and I can't buy no dough. So I don't want to beg and do what y'all do. I had to go to work, but look at me. My eyes are darker than the bottom. My pockets are touching in the back because I'm running the street, acting the fool. So I had to, you know what? And a couple, but this is what happened. Before my dad passed, I said, Dad, man, God bless you, man. I'm gonna live an ordinary life, Dad, and I'm gonna be very wealthy. And my daddy said, be quiet. I said, you sit on my couch and write a book. He said, you're not ordinary. You extraordinary.
You want to know what I was thinking? The same thing. I was like, I really don't agree with that. And I was going to tell you, no, you're not ordinary. You're extraordinary. But I was going to let you finish your thought.
Yes. And he, and it's been on and popping ever since. I miss my father. We had a great relationship, but there was some point where my mind was clouded and I came back home. And when I came home, he said, the prodigal son has returned.
Amen.
My dad said that to me.
I love that. You want to know what? I feel like it's your dad's fault that the drugs didn't steal your manhood.
Yeah.
I feel like we can really blame that all on him because he wasn't playing.
He wasn't playing. He didn't play.
Drugs didn't steal your manhood, and drugs didn't steal your leadership, and drugs did not steal your dream. And I gotta say, your dad was a major part of that. Yeah. Just listening to you, I hear it.
He was a major part of that. And Coach, there were times when I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing. Right. It was just and a lot of times when you get out there, and I had the reputation, I didn't deal with the street, what I call street level dealers. I wanted the guy who was supplying everybody on the streets. And with my charisma in class, guess what happened? I met them every time.
Wow.
So I didn't have these little bitty packs. I dealt in big stuff.
You wanted concierge drug dealer?
That's right.
Drug activity?
That's right.
Wait a minute. So you were going to buy in bulk and use it all yourself? Get out of
Yes. And I was being very selfish. And a lot of times I did.
Wait a minute. Not getting Costco.
Yeah, Costco. Look, I don't want 6 rolls. I need 24 rolls. I need 40. I need the 64 pack of rolls.
Wow, you are getting Costco and Sam's Club bulk buying level drug activity just for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, I got
you know what? I've had to pay for it too because it stopped my heart. Okay?
Wow.
It stopped my heart.
How many times did that happen?
That happened 2 times.
Okay.
It happened 2 times. And I would lose bodily fluids all over me from everywhere. And the insanity part of it, I'll never do this again. I promise you, God, thank you. God, Lord, I thank you. And right after that,
here you go.
Back. Here I go again in the wind like Chester Cheetah.
Wow.
You know, so I'm not. And when I talk to coach, I'm not no kind of because it's people. You know, and right now what's
come back. Hold up. You got to rewind because you froze up. So restate what you just said. Restate what you just said.
Where was I? I said out there on the streets right now, they have what I call one-hitter quitters. You take one hit and you done. There is no
what is that? Is that fentanyl?
Yep.
Fentanyl? Okay.
That's right. And they're putting fentanyl in everything, including marijuana.
You want to know what? I'm just going to say this to the people who are dealing drugs. You might want to stop killing your customers. It's not good for business. I'm just saying. It might look good on the front end, but it's not on the back end. You're killing your customers. I'm not promoting drugs. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Not only are you killing your customers, they are building a case against you, regardless if you know it or not. Don't think that law enforcement don't know. Okay, you might think you're getting away with it, but they know what's happening. You know.
I mean, to be very honest, law enforcement can't be everywhere. In addition to that, there are way more drug dealers and way more God forbid, but there are way more murders than we know about, i.e. missing people. Right. But the deal is this: we got to learn to take better care of one another, and we have to learn to take better care of ourselves, and stop hiding our problems in quick fixes. If somehow we can figure out how to love one another, then we will be a lot better off. You're in a house full of people, but yet you feel unknown and isolated. This is happening every single day. I think something good that came out of the pandemic is that people actually got to know one another. Now some people may have discovered that they don't like one another, but at least, and I only say that because of there has been a lot of divorces, but at the same time, a lot of parents discovered that they actually really, really like their kids.
Yeah.
And they discovered that they want to be parents, and they created traditions and things that they like to do, and play games. I'm always talking about my mother, but it's because me and my mom, we are friends. She is definitely my mom, but we are friends, and we can be together. We don't need a TV or radio. We're just talking and singing goofy songs and giggling and stuff like that. And I just encourage people to get somebody to be close with.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's okay.
Have a close, intimate relationship with somebody. Give yourself away and then receive someone in full and be accepting of that person so that you can have earthly significance. Now, family, y'all know I can talk all day long about supernatural significance, and that is truly where it's at. But there is nothing like that human feeling of finding significance reflected in someone else's eyes, knowing that they heard you, knowing that they believe that you matter. So I want that for everybody. I want people not to feel lonely, and I want people not to turn to a bottle or drugs or sleep or TV just to have an outlet. So anyway, I just wanted to say that piece. Come on back. Come on, give it to me, Anthony. Let's get back to you.
That was amazing what you just said. That breaks it all down. And I found myself, Coach, in isolating, because early on, like I said, that it was fun, and I call it the dressed up garbage can syndrome. You know what I'm saying? You see it on trash day. You roll your garbage can out to the corner.
Yeah, man.
The outside of it pretty green. Even the wheels on it shining.
Ooh.
But open up the top of it. It's got maggots in it. It stinks. You know, it's just like, so those paint it up pretty in my life. And did I fall for the okie doke? Nope. At one point, my body just started craving. I found myself in a craving type thing where I felt like I had to have this, okay? But I would find myself going on 2-week binges, that type of thing, you know? And my first wife, I exhausted that young lady. I got two beautiful daughters, and I went back and made amends. Now we have all of us have the best relationship ever.
Okay,
you know?
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That is beautiful.
Yes. I cried with my daughters, but they told me, "Dad, we're just glad you're alive." And my girls check on me. It's crazy. My girls check on me, and even the mother of my children, we have a great relationship, because at the time my mind was clouded, and I told her I wasn't gonna keep living like this. I told her, but she didn't have no. I don't care. I've already figured out a way to pay the bills without you, because you're not coming home, which I don't blame her. So, you know, so those type of things happening, and I kept feeling like I knew I had so many great corporate positions, so many roles I was put in because of my character, because of who I was.
You're a likable guy, so I'm gonna tell you, ladies, he's single. He's single. He's single. Listen, I always get these questions. I'm gonna say right out, he's single, ladies. All the single ladies, no.
55 years old, single, and I'm free.
There you go. He's a self-made man, honest and true. So there you go. You'll get a real good guy. But speaking of you being single, let's talk about why you're single, because you really did have another wife, right?
Yes. And my wife, Corda, 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 was a clinical therapist. She and I went to high school together. We grew up together as kids. We got baby pictures together. So we didn't see each other for 25 years.
Okay.
You know, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, doing my thing, you know, and she contacts me thanks to Facebook.
All right now.
And next thing you know, she was in Florida.
Okay.
You know, I'm traveling back and forth from Florida to Carolina, and she traveling back and forth from Carolina to Florida. And I said, I'm not moving back home, Corda. Nice to see you. Glad we're doing well with our lives. See you later. Well, next thing you know, Coach, I was packing up the Tahoe, and I was moving back to North Carolina. And I ended up marrying her.
Look, she said, so you think.
That's what she said. That's exactly what she said.
Wait a minute. She said, that's what your mouth say. I'm going to show you what you're going to do.
See, her thing, she said, if you're the same Anthony McCauley that I knew growing up and went to high school with, you coming back home with me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, but the thing was, she passed away a year ago. Yeah, she passed away a year ago.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a year ago today, right?
A year ago today. Yes.
So I just want to celebrate you. I want to lift you up. Family, help me lift him up. Give him a hand. Give him some round of applause, because look at what you are doing with your time today.
Yeah.
Normally, not normally, in your past you would have decided to hide your pain in foolishness, and drugs. You know, you would have found the drug of your choice and dove right in. But not today.
That's right.
Not today. I'm so thankful that you're spending time with me and the family on this particular day, and that we're celebrating. We're really doing honor to her memory.
Yeah. Wow. Because she named the nonprofit organization Males of Distinction. And came up with the acronym Making Achievable Life Enhancing Strides. She came up with that and allowed me to give birth to the vision.
Okay, so tell us about the vision. So drop that for the family again. Say it for them again.
Okay, I'm the CEO and founder of Males of Distinction Ladies of Merit Youth Organization.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And what does that organization do? As a matter of fact, don't forget to drop that into the private chat so that I can give it to the family and everybody can look it up. Yes. But before you do that, tell us what that organization does and where you see it going in the future. Go ahead.
Okay. Males of Distinction is a program, it's a motivational success program that guides the development and perspectives of young boys. Young males. I call it Males of Distinction because there's a trend. Anytime you're between the ages of 8 and 17 or even 18, I consider you to be a male. There's a transition from being a male into manhood. They call the community and one of the buzzwords around for in the mentoring field is at risk. I tell my boys, you're not at risk. You're at purpose.
Woohoo!
And the Ladies of Merit organization is just a spin-off of Males of Distinction, because all of the young ladies in the community was going, I'm Mr. Anthony around here. Mr. Anthony, you don't have nothing for the girls. So I developed a model after Males of Distinction called Ladies of Merit. And Merit has an acronym that's Marvelous, Empowered Radiance, Inspiring Truth. So I tell these young ladies, you have purpose for your life. And I have some community ladies that run that part of the program. But Males of Distinction is a motivational success program. We have 6 core initiative programs. We got a jiu-jitsu program. We have a drone program. We have a tutoring program. We got a co-op attached to it. So the resources are there. Where I see this going in the future is I'm going to be on a national platform, because my goal is to market and begin to go around to any school that will have me to come and speak to the children and the youth, anywhere between elementary to high school. I will put my goal is to buy me an RV, pack up my books, and hit the United States, sharing my story of experience, strength, and hope with children of all ages. So I picture myself in a gym with all these kids and me loving on them and me pouring into them, motivating them and letting them know they got purpose, and let them know they don't have to do anything with drugs and alcohol, because I've done it for you.
You know what? Wait, can I suggest a souped up school bus? Because you taking them to school, baby.
Ooh.
You giving out education.
Yes, and I love.
They're fixing up those school buses. I'm serious. I can see you rolling into town.
They are. They're exactly. And they are comfortable. So it might be a school bus. I don't know. It's just me. So I'm gonna get hitting the road, and that's a vision of mine. That's a powerful vision of mine. I had a goal set 3 years ago. I want to impact 1 million kids plus, and it can be done virtually. It can be done any kind of way, but I want to impact over 1 million kids.
So I know that you on the tour for the Impact of Influence book. Wait, first of all, let me say congratulations on being a best-selling author. Thank you. That's really, really cool. You guys got another book coming out. Number 2.
Yes.
So another Impact of Influence number 2. When does that drop? That drops in September, right?
I think it's September the 27th, a day before my birthday.
Hey. Now that's a birthday present.
Yes.
I'm sure that is going to do as well, or if not better, than the very first one. So, you could be a best-selling author twice.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. But I only brought that up, honestly, because I've seen some of the tours that you've been doing with the Impact of Influence book. So I think the only thing that's really missing from your tour is your RV. You've already gotten started, man.
Yes, and I'm looking out of that tour. The tour came to, there's a young lady, Ashley Knight, with the Word Unite bookstore, traveling bookstore.
Okay.
Came to North Carolina from Houston and invited on her way here through my man Chip Baker, hooked us up together and networked with me. And when she got to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was waiting for her.
There you go.
We sat up right beside each other. As soon as you walk in the gate, you had to come to us because we were right there. I did very well signing books, and there were men bringing their sons to meet me.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I like it. Hey, Lisa, go ahead and drop me a line on LinkedIn. I'm at Coach Erica Love, and then I'll get you guys hooked up. I'll get you hooked up with Anthony. I'm going to have you guys network. Maybe Lisa, are you in a school? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get him to speak to some young people? What's your thoughts? You can let us know. I'll get you hooked up right now.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Let's go get it. Rise up, baby.
Yeah, rise up. Oh, well, hey, while we're speaking of rise up, go ahead and tell us about what you have going on with Rise Up, because that is fresh and new. That's not even out the gate yet, man.
It's not even out the gate yet. My sweet daughter, my baby girl, has her own graphic arts design company, and she creates all my logos for my businesses. And I told her what I wanted to brand, and it's going to be Rise Up. Rise Up is going to come with some workshops, and the acronym for Rise Up is running into successful endeavors by understanding prosperity.
Like it.
Yes, I'm working on building that and having some workshops, teaching and trying to get another stream of income. Not only that, to pour into people's lives, because a lot of people don't know, how did you do what you're doing, And I'm like, I had to free my mind.
Yeah,
I had to get that moment of clarity. And Coach, the insanity part of it, Coach, I find myself locked in a hotel room, reading the Bible, crying, high. At one moment,
hold up.
Yes.
Please, you are not about to gloss over that. So you are reading the Bible high? Wow.
Yes.
Wait a minute, did you get any revelations?
I got a lot of revelations. God told me. I said, Lord, please either take me out or what's going on. And every time, the last time I remember, every time I would take a hit, I was getting sober. I wasn't getting high no more. And I heard the Spirit was falling fresh upon my life, saying, I will never leave you nor forsake you. You're you think you're part of this hood, you're part of the royal priesthood. You're gonna walk.
So God wouldn't even let you get high no more.
Huh?
God wouldn't even let you get.
Wouldn't even let me. And I had a quarter ounce of not glorifying. I'm not glorifying nothing, guys. Listen to me. I'm not glorifying this, but I had over a quarter ounce of dope, and I could not feel anything anymore.
So just to remind y'all, family, he was buying dope in bulk. So that's why he had. So that's why he had so much.
Nice to laugh about it.
Yes. So God would not let him get high anymore. So
No.
you can do as much of this stuff, but it's not going to
No.
work. You're not
No.
going to get high. Okay.
Yes. And people would think when I tell them, oh man, you tripping, man. You don't play with, no, I wasn't playing. God knows me. I got a great relationship. A great relationship.
When you got a relationship with God, it is so different than having religion.
It is so cool.
different.
It's so cool. I deal with people that know everybody throw away. I want them. I want to talk to them. When you walk past somebody and say, oh my God, he stinks. Yeah, that's me. Let me talk to you.
Rise up.
Rise up, baby. You ain't gotta stay stinking, man. You can take a bath, dude. And you can
So
change.
at your center, can people take baths at your center?
At my center? I don't have a center. No, you mean our community center?
Yeah.
That's a great question. No, we can't. They can't because we're not equipped. It's just a center without that type of thing. And
you want to know something? Okay.
What a great idea, man.
It's a super idea. But there are these baths in a bag. So it might take a lot for you to build plumbing, but it will just take donations for you to get these baths in a bag. And so what happens is there's it's a soap. They use them in hospitals. That's why I know about them. But it's soap and it's moisturizer and it's all in one. All you do is put water in the bag. The sponge is already in there. You squeeze it soaks up, and you can just soap yourself down, and then you're clean. You know, I mean, it's not like taking a full-fledged bath or a shower, but you feel clean, and you can give these out to people, and they don't have to, be carrying a bunch of stuff around.
Wow.
You know,
I gotta look into that. That's amazing. The part of North Carolina where I'm at, Coach, is I'm in an area that's probably 85% white, and the rest is other. There's a traffic circle that divides. One side of the traffic circle, the per capita income is over 100,000, but when you hit the other area, it drops down to 25 below. And I deal with the children from that side, but it's a big county. So, and my organization is not labeled as a African American organization. I help any young man who needs the help with motivational success programming.
Well, listen, when you post this on your, on your social media, whatnot, I'm just going to say, all of you people in his area who are $125,000 or more, go ahead and purchase some baths in a bag and donate them, please. Wow. That would be amazing. They're not that expensive. You can probably buy 10, and it would just cost a coffee. Starbucks.
Wow. So, man, that's amazing. I'm truly grateful. I am to be where I'm at right now. And I love creating, researching, and doing things now, things I should have been doing. I am about a year and a half from my Bachelor of Psychology.
That's amazing. So, what it sounds like, that desire. Are you trying to please your papa a little bit by getting your degree? Because you've managed to be a self-made man, regardless of how hard you fought against it with your activities. But I wonder, are you trying to please your dad a little bit by going ahead and finishing your degree?
I'm trying to please Anthony. I'm trying to line up. And Daddy told me, you can do anything you want to do, son. And the part when I look back, the shoulda, woulda, coulda, I can't do anything about the past. It's gone. Tomorrow is not even here. All I have is this moment right now. So I have so many continuing education. I got enough in here right now to be a doctor, okay? Matter of fact, in Tanzania, they call me Dr. Anthony. You're the Dr. Anthony. So I am doing this for me. It's a personal goal.
Okay.
Daddy never promoted education to me. It was, when you get out, the thing for a man to do is work and have a job and take care of his family. I had different views on that. I wanted to, what about going to college, Daddy? We can't afford that, man. I don't know what to tell you about that, man. But my father was very educated. He graduated high school and did some college things, And I saw that, but it was never promoted.
So your dad's idea of manhood didn't have anything to do with education. It had to do with character. Character,
providing, being a rock. If something needs to get done, it wasn't. You don't say, "Here I am, man, hear me roar." No, you take care of your woman, because there's decisions. Sometimes when I would go to mama and she say, "What'd your daddy say?" You know, and so it's like, man, come on, mama, I came to you, my go-to.
Your mama had a good man, so she wasn't trying to play with you. She said, "You better go and
No, she wasn't. But my mother is my go-to right now. She's amazing. She's still here. I'm blessed to still have her part of my life.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. It sounds like you guys are really good friends.
Yes, we are. We are. I could feel her smile through the phone now. When I can remember times when I call and she just hang up. I don't even want to talk to you.
Ooh.
This is not my son. When my son gets back, tell him to call me. I'm like, I gotta get it together, man.
Wow. You know, the fans was not playing with you.
No, they didn't play. That's where that love come from. That's what's missing now.
You know what? I'm trying to see you. You got a bald head, but I don't see many knots on there. But it seemed like you was hit upside the head a bunch of times.
Hit upside the head. If I turn around, let you see this big preacher knot on the back of my head.
Okay. Because, man, your parents were not playing with you.
I've definitely had guns jammed on me. I've had to bully my way out of situations. I've had to literally, look, there's a door right there. I'm getting ready to run through that door. You know, I'm getting ready. I see three people over there. I'm ready to take all them out. Been there, done that.
What?
Yes. I mean, just bulldog them, just run through them. And they say, this dude crazy. No, I'm getting out of here. Because something getting ready to happen, and it's not going to be pretty. And being in the middle, Coach, this is God's grace. I've been in the middle of a major drug bust. The feds come in and pull me to the side and said, who in the heck are you, man? We've been watching this place for 6 months. And I'm in the middle of Philadelphia somewhere. Out of my mind. And I said, sir, look here. They have what I want. And this is where I came to get it. And I got stuck sitting in here. So that's why I'm sitting in here. I didn't know you was under. So everybody's thinking now he was.
Yeah, you are a narc.
Yes. So I'm like, I got to get it together. And the insane part didn't stop until I had a made up mind. I said, you know what? I backslid. I was saved at 17 years old. God saved. I turned my life over to Christ, but I heard it audibly. Do not make that left turn. I made a left turn for 25, 30 years.
Wow.
But you know what? I turned back right. Yeah! Rise
up. You kept making that left turn because you was high when you was making the left turn, so you had to repeat it.
You're exactly right. You're right. Didn't know where I thought I was making a right every time.
Exactly.
It was a left. Thought I was making a right. It was always the left. So
all I can say is to God be the glory. Thank goodness. Thank goodness we did not lose you to your impulses.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we did not lose you to your fleshly impulses, because you have so much to offer the world. I'm very thankful.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful for you. You know what? We have just, chatted it up and had a very, very wonderful time. Give us some final words, some foundational stuff, because the reality is you did a lot of stuff. Yes. You did a lot of stuff to try to destroy your purpose and your passion. But it just didn't happen. You did not do it. And you literally went from addict to entrepreneur.
Wow.
So give us you just did.
Yeah.
And there is hope. I just want everybody to know that just because you are doing something, even if you're doing it now, you can still quit. if they are using now, if they're addicted to something now, that does not mean your purpose has passed you. It doesn't mean it. So Anthony, just give us a little bit, because I'm so proud and thankful for your presence.
Okay. And if anyone is out there, a family member, anybody that's dealing with something right now, they're dealing with fear. And that fear is either you're going to forget everything and run, or you're going to forget everything and rise. Stop having success anxieties about your life. Your life does have a purpose. So get with somebody. There's some genuine people that want to help. You got to find what works for you in order for you to have your moment of clarity so you can get life on track. So one of my favorite things I like to say is, don't downgrade your dream to fit your reality. Upgrade your conviction to match your destiny.
Hey, there we go. I like that.
One more time. Don't downgrade your dream to fit your reality. Because what you're seeing is all circumstances. That circumstance that you're in is the current circle that you're standing in at that moment. They change. It just changed again. So upgrade your conviction to match your destiny.
Yes. Man, it has been 100% wonderful. You coming back again. You're coming back. That's just a fact, family. He is coming back. I'm so thankful that I got to spend time with you today. And just thank you for being transparent, open, and sharing your heart with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach Love. You're amazing as well. Continue doing what you're doing. And I'm going to pull up on you in that RV.
Hey, beep, beep. Who's got the keys to the Jeep? Whoa. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much. Bye, family. Hello, family. Welcome to another episode of Coach Love Explores, where we answer the question, where is God in your journey? Now, this young man, and I'm saying young man because he's so vibrant, but believe me, he has wisdom. He has deep, deep wisdom in a place that, most of us probably won't see. But anyway, he's a young man and he's done many things and gone many places. He's a CEO and he's been to a prison cell. He's done drugs and he's owned several businesses. So he is a man of deep, deep experience, deep, deep passion, and he's unapologetic for any of it. And there's a good reason why. Because God has always been in his journey. Welcome, Mr. Reggie D. Smith. How you doing?
Hello. How are you?
You know what? I told a little bit about you, but can you just give us a little inkling about yourself? Tell us about yourself, my friend.
Well, my name is Reggie D. Smith. They call me Reggie D. Some people call me the Sauce Boss because of my new business venture here. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a man of God, of course. I do have my flaws. Hey, they always tell me I pray, but I'll get with you at the same time. That's me. I love to have fun, very, very, very spontaneous. But most of all, I love starting businesses, love seeing people succeed, and I love helping people.
That is amazing. I appreciate that. So you described yourself as a serial entrepreneur. What does that mean to you?
I love starting businesses, watching businesses succeed, watching businesses go to the next level. And when I get bored, as I often do, because I joke about having ADHD, I'll jump off into a new business venture. You know, as soon as it starts thriving, I'll find something else to do.
All right. Now, I want you to talk just a little bit louder because I don't want anybody to miss anything when it comes to the wisdom that you. Oh, yes, there you go. That's a little bit better.
Okay.
So, what was your first business? What was your first business?
My very first business, I was kind of playing around. I had a cleaning company. That was the first business I did. Actually, my first successful business. I had a 32-man collection agency. In fact, I had a debt collection agency. That was my first actual business that actually did flow something.
Okay. That is amazing. And about how old are you? About how old were you when you started that? About how old were you when you started that?
I was probably about 32, 33.
Mm-hmm. And so you had started several businesses, but you just kept going and going and going and kept trying, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, while you're on this track of starting your businesses and things of that nature, you got more money, right?
Yeah, I was getting a little too much at one time, more than I could actually handle, more than what probably should have been in my hands at one time. Because I was very unmanageable at that time. I was kind of a wild child.
So what did that look like? What does that mean? You were a wild child. What does that mean?
I used to call myself a rock star. That's what I called myself. I used to like to party.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Man, fast cars, fast women. You know, hard drugs and rock and roll.
Okay.
You know, so
okay, cars, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, you know, fast cars, fast women, you know, a lot of money, hard drugs, rock and roll, you know, that rock and roll lifestyle, that rock star lifestyle is what I call it.
You know what? Because you could have whatever you want, whenever you want. You had a bunch of yes people around you, right?
At one point in time, yeah.
And besides that, you weren't trying to hear no.
Of course. I'm an only child, so I still don't hear no.
Hey,
okay. Give it to me, I can get it for myself.
All right. I got you. So when you were living that fast lifestyle, were you hearing the voice of God?
I was kind of what they call that backslider. You know, I would go to church and dibble and dab. I've always known God. I've always been baptized. My family has always been into the church, but I never did what I was supposed to do 100%.
Okay, I got it. Now, what inspired you to get into that life? That's the question. And so I guess by that life, do you mean, fast cars and fast women, or do you mean the debt collection? I'm curious about that. So answer both.
We'll start off with that fast life, that street life. It was kind of, I wasn't raised that way at all. It was kind of what was around me. You know, I'm a product of East St. Louis. You know, and I'm a '70s baby. And right when I started thriving in my teen years was the beginning of the crack era. You know, Reaganomics. Yeah. I started thriving at the beginning of the crack era. And it was all intriguing. It was very, very fast money, and it was very good money at the time. You know,
so were you selling crack or were you doing crack? How did that work?
Well, I started off selling, and then I started playing with it a little bit. You know, I started playing with cocaine a little bit, you know, and it spiraled a couple of times, but my finances kept it all from showing. So, you know, people never knew. You know, people close to me knew because of the signs, you know, certain signs that I would display at the times when I was in the streets real heavy, you know. But you know, I started off selling, and at the time I got in at the bottom. It's almost like getting into the stock market at the bottom, like those Bitcoin when it's less than a penny and it jumped up to $30,000-$40,000 a share. I got in at the beginning of the game, so the game was real good to me at that time.
Okay. And was it hard getting into the game? Was that hard?
What's that?
Was it hard getting into the game?
No, it was the beginning. You know, it was the beginning of everything. You know, everybody was trusting everybody. It was before the murder rates got as high as they were, and you know, people in the streets didn't know a whole lot about it. Everybody was scamming each other. It was just a whole lot of money to be gotten out here, you know. And you know, people went from gangs to making money together. You know, gang banging, separate turfs to making money together. So it wasn't hard at all. We were all young and kids, and you know, most of the people you start off with are people you grew up with.
Okay, so did the street pharmaceutical sales, did that come before your successful business or afterwards?
It came way before. You know, I started in the streets with selling drugs when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 16 years old, actually about 15 when I actually started. It was before high school. So, you know.
So how did you get out? How did you get out of the drug game then?
I went to prison.
Okay, got it.
That'll take anybody out the game.
I got it. So, how long were you in prison for your, for that particular time period? How long were you there?
I was sentenced to 5 years the first time back in 1995. I was sentenced to 5 years for drug charge and a murder.
Okay, drug. All right. So, did you learn anything while you were there?
Yeah, I learned not to go back. Because it gets a little deep with me when it comes to, you know, that little stint. It's kind of quirky too, because I was sentenced to 5 years, as I said, for a murder and a drug conviction. My original murder case, without getting too far in depth with it, I was sentenced to actually probation for murder, because at the time in the state of Illinois, 2nd-degree murder is probation. You know, oh yeah. And that's all it took, was knowing the right people, having the right connections, having a little family with money, you know, and I received probation for that murder. I got the lowest sentence, you know, because it pretty much, you know, I had never been in trouble before. Schooling, my upbringing, you know, when they did the pre-sentence investigation in my family, it led back to probation for that, and I didn't learn anything from it, you know. So I kept going out in the streets feeling that I was untouchable at the time and still selling drugs, and eventually I got a drug conviction, and while I was still on probation. So so they revoked my probation, reinstated the original murder charge, and sentenced me to 5 years for the drugs and basically the murder together. And because I was considered a violent person, a gang member, a drug dealer, and all the good stuff that, you know, the powers that be classify as young black males, they sent me to a maximum security prison. And that was kind of a good thing. With 5 years, I was never supposed to see the inside of anything but a minimum security camp. But because of who I was and my gang affiliation and, you know, my past violent crimes, they sent me to a maximum security. And because of that, I was incarcerated with people who had a lot of time. I mean, 30, 40, 50 years, life sentences. I was in Stateville in Joliet, Illinois. Stateville is where death row inmates are. So I'm going to the yard with people who are on death row, and I'm mingling with people who are waiting to die or would never get out. And I'm there with a 5-year sentence experiencing this. So that's what made me not want to go back. That's what did it.
Okay, so you're doing this hard time. Wait, before we go too far, Do you feel like you were a violent criminal? Do you think that?
Nah, I wasn't.
Okay. So you decide you're not going to go back. How old are you when you get out?
I was 29 when I came home.
Okay. And you started working hard trying to build your business, right?
Yeah, when I came home, I was kind of, most people that come home from prison, especially after the first time, unless they're career criminals, they're usually, that PTSD, that shell shock thing.
Okay.
Not used to being around other people, not used to loud noises, because, when you're in prison, you hear loud noises, something is getting ready to kick off or have kicked off already. You're not used to being around big crowds of people. And any little thing will kind of have us on edge. So because of that, I stayed in the house a lot and I worked a lot. And at the time, I worked for MCI out in Earth City. It was a collection agency. And I figured out quickly that I was able to talk people into giving me their money. I'm a very good talker. I'm a very good talker, so I was able to talk people into paying their bills, and I figured I saw that I was real good at it. And I found it fun, actually. So I worked 12, 16 hours a day just not to be at home, not to be around a lot of people. I didn't have many friends when I came home because I kind of left East St. Louis and moved to St. Louis. And when I moved to St. Louis from across the river, I knew absolutely nobody in Missouri. So work was all I had, was work and family at the time. And when I realized that collections was my niche, and after bouncing around to a couple of different collection agencies, I decided to open my own. And it was very successful because I was good with money and I knew how to talk, and I started meeting people from the other agencies, so I was able to get employees, who wouldn't want to work for a young black guy, versus working for, the bigger companies. So,
wow.
And other people. So, they already knew me. They figured I was cool. So they came and worked for me. And I was able to grow my collection agency from just me to a 32-man call center in about a year. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Oh,
so it was definitely hard work.
Yeah. It took a lot of work. But like I said, it was fun while I was doing it. I was making more money than I was in the streets, actually.
Okay. And so how long were you in that business?
I was in that business probably about 10 years. I was in the business for a nice amount of time, but the thing was, I didn't know business. I knew how to make money. I knew how to collect on these debts. I knew what it took to open this agency, but I didn't know the back office. I didn't know the back end. And because of that, somebody who was a little more savvy than me business-wise, I let them kind of trick me out of my business, per se. Yeah.
Wow. So now, where was God in that part of your journey?
What's that?
Where was God in that part of your journey?
Still 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
One foot in and one foot out.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because I was still I'd gotten back out there a little bit. I started socializing a little more, started traveling. I'm a biker, so I got into the motorcycle scene, and I was kind of out in the streets.
So you want to know something? I think 1 foot in, 1 foot out describes a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what does that look like? Because God is always talking to us. God is talking to every last one of us.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's whether or not we're tuned in to his, his station, where his frequency, right?
Right.
So even though you were 1 foot in and 1 foot out, I know God was telling you things. I know he was talking to you. Do you remember anything he was telling you at that time?
That was all because I was still saved, and because I still went to church periodically. I would have my spurts where I wouldn't go, and then I would go faithfully. There were still limitations to what I would do as far as illegal or as far as things that were ungodly. It was a lot of limitations to what I would do because of that. I still had to remember I have a family to take care of. I'm still a child of God, so I do have to do this halfway right, at least.
So you felt that tugging in your soul?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me something that you were presented with, but you decided not to do.
Getting back out there in the drug game for oneself.
Okay.
That was one thing. That's something that I've been totally against, because I know, the lives it destroyed, the path that it took me down, and where my future would be if I jump back out there and end up back in prison for drugs again.
Okay. So you got into business, you built a successful business, you did that for 10 years, and then you started another business.
I got into the nightclub life after that.
Okay.
A good friend of mine passed away. A good friend of mine, or a good friend of my family's, he was murdered, and he had a successful nightclub in East St. Louis. And his family took over the club and brought me in as one of the partners of the club. So I had a very successful club in East St. Louis for a while. And that's when I saw that the nightlife brought in a lot of money.
You know what? Most people who are watching us, they don't know anything about East St. Louis. So just kind of tell them about it. They need to understand that East St. Louis is a nightlife kind of place.
Yeah, it's a nightlife place. 89 blocks is what we have. East St. Louis is a small urban community. It consists of 89 blocks. African American community. We have a black police chief, a black mayor. Everything there is black. If you saw anything over there that wasn't black, you better watch out, because something was wrong with them. If they wasn't a school teacher, if they didn't work at the hospital, if they wasn't a police officer, and you saw them over there, something was wrong. So it's an urban community, a pretty tight-knit community, with a rather high crime rate. It's better now, but it was one of those places.
Wow. Leaf King, he has a question. He wants to know if there's any valuable business lessons that you learned while you were a drug dealer.
Interesting question. It definitely is. If you ever been in the streets, you know how to flip your money. I hate to relate back to the drug life, but you start off with $50 worth of this, $100 worth of this. You save your money, you flip your money. It's the same thing in the drug game. You start off with a 16th, you go to an 8-ball, you leave an 8, you go to an ounce, and on up there till you get a key. It's like that. Not to talk about drugs, but that's the way it is. You learn how to hold your money, you learn how to flip your money. That's one thing that I learned. I'll give an example. I did a show probably about 2 months ago, and a guy came to me because he saw how successful my business was, and he watched me sell for a couple of days. And he said, "Hey, I got this seasoning that I want to start selling." But I said, "Do it then." He said, "Well, I don't have any money to do it." I said, "Have you ever sold drugs?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, you can do it then. You go and sell 1 bottle. After you sell that 1 bottle, you take that money and go buy 2 bottles. You sell them 2, you take the money and go buy 4. It's the same way you did in the streets in the drug game. You don't spend your money. You always use your profits to re-up. And it's the exact same way. I took all of my money from my businesses. Instead of blowing my money, I just kept re-upping, buying more product, buying more clients, getting more employees, getting more telephones. I just kept re-upping that money the same way you do in the streets. And eventually, when you get to a comfortable point, then you can start spending and enjoying yourself and living life. But of course, I used the street game to convert over to business, especially when it came to finances. And watching people as well, because in the streets, you got to watch people. You have to watch your voice the same way. A combination of book knowledge and street knowledge. You definitely have to have it out here in the entrepreneurship game.
You know what? I'm big on transferable skills.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Great question, Leaf King. So now you have started in the nightlife. What's happening in the nightlife for you? What's going on?
Fast life all over again. That's basically what it was. You up to 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning every night, 5, 6 nights a week. You're drinking. You got the women. So it started everything all over again. Start the whole ball rolling again. Somewhere where I shouldn't have been. And I prayed to God to get me out of that life. And He got me out of it. It wasn't where I wanted out, but He got me out. After going through 1, 2, 3, 4 nightclubs. Yeah.
You went through 4 nightclubs?
Yeah, I started off on the east side at I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was called Club Rio. I started off at Club Rio as a partner over there when we went from adult club to a teen club. I went from Club Rio to a club that I had called Juices and Jams in Hannibal, Missouri. I went from there to the Junkyard Bar and Grill, and went from the Junkyard. I changed the name to Pure Ultra Lounge, and I moved to Berkeley.
Wait, you were all the way out in Hannibal, Missouri?
Yes, I had businesses in Hannibal, Missouri. I had a club and a clothing store in Hannibal, Missouri. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
We didn't even talk about the clothing store.
Right.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
forget about that sometimes.
So how long were you dealing with that?
I think I had those businesses 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, they were right next door to each other in the storefront.
What made you jump out of it?
Out of the nightlife?
No, out of the clothing business and that, you know, your Hannibal, Missouri.
Those people didn't want us up there. That's what.
Okay, well that makes sense, you know. So just like I was telling you about East St. Louis being, you know, a place of fast happenings.
Right.
Hannibal, Missouri is a really rural area, and it's a little bit like I'm not going to call it quite a sundown town, but it's almost a sundown town.
It's close.
Yeah, it's almost a sundown town. So
it's close. But when I came up there at the time, I have a relative that lives. So it's a black community up there. The west side of Hannibal is predominantly black.
Okay.
And I have.
But just that little part.
Just that part. Yes.
Okay.
And with me coming up there and not knowing about Hannibal the way that I should have studied it first. I put my business smack dead downtown where I look out of my window and look up into the mayor's window, right across the street from City Hall.
Right, because I'm thinking that wasn't real safe for you.
No.
No. Right. Okay.
But I did it, you know. So when they see this guy, at the time I had a Hummer H2, one of the big Hummers, and I had a red Corvette. So, you know, you seeing the guy from St. Louis coming down with those two vehicles consistently every day, you know, they started watching me. And it went from them watching me to them sending the police in there to check on the club frequently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to them messing with me because, hey, I spoke up after a while. Well, y'all keep coming to my establishment. And it went from that to them not wanting me down there and not renewing my business license.
Okay, so I got it. So, you know, you know what? I'm not really surprised. It's not unusual for that part of Missouri, you know, not to be welcoming per se. So let's move on down the line to the fact where you had your bar and grill, but in the St. Louis area, in Berkeley, right?
Yes, Pure Ultra Lounge. That was the last one. And at the same time that I had Pure Ultra Lounge, I had the first black nail salon in St. Louis, actually. It was a nail bar. It was called Nubian Nail Bar. So I had both of those at the same time.
So, wait a minute. I'm just going to try to count your businesses. I don't know if I can. Okay, so we had Street Pharmaceuticals. Then you were a collection agent. Then you went into nightlife, so clubbing. Then you did a clothing store. Oh, and now we're at the bar and grill, which is a little bit different than nightlife.
No, it was the same thing. It was a club. It was a club.
Okay.
Yeah, I had food and it was smaller. That was the only difference.
Okay, so it's just a different club. Okay.
Right. I called it a bar and grill, but it was a club. It was basically a club with food.
A club with food.
Right.
So something happened with your club with food, so to speak. What happened with that?
Well, the people in the area, the residents of the area, the younger people of the area, the street people of the area didn't know how to act. They didn't know how to act, and you know, same thing that happens in nightlife, period, in every urban city. You know, when people start drinking, they start feeling themselves, and they want to fight, they want to shoot. And the city of Berkeley blamed my club for it. They said, hey, if your club didn't exist, these things wouldn't be happening in our city. Which is funny.
Wow.
Yeah, which is funny to me because since I closed, they've had 1,000 more murders, even in the week that I closed. But you know, that was their take on it, because I was actually the only club in Berkeley at the time when I had that place.
That's very interesting. So you closed that particular club. Didn't something else happen with your books or something like that? Something happened with the money?
Yeah, it was a combination of the club and the nail salon.
Okay.
Those are cash businesses, except for what you're swiping.
Okay.
And the cash I wasn't reporting to the IRS. And yeah, and I got audited and they came snooping around my books.
Okay.
And when that happened, they wanted a little more time from me. They didn't even want their money back. They wanted a little more time for me for falsifying tax records and not paying taxes, basically.
So I want to ask you, where was God in this part of your journey?
Oh man, I was doing a lot of praying at that time.
I bet you were.
Yes, I was. I was doing a lot of praying, and it was weird. I was doing a lot of praying and soul searching, because now versus the first time I went to prison, I was in my 20s, early 20s, 23, 24. This time when this happened, I'm 40.
Okay.
So the vibe is much different.
Right.
When I was in my 20s, I had plenty of time to give them, plenty of it, and was willing to go for just about anything, because I didn't have common sense at the time. I didn't have any sense.
Okay.
At 40 years old, I got a family, a house, a picket fence with a dog in the backyard. You know, I had all that at 40. You know, at that time, I'm used to eating steak and lobster every night. I'm used to taking vacations every week, leaving the country once a month. You know, I had established that life for myself. So going to jail for one day at 40 is a lot different than going to jail for 10 years at 20. A big difference. Yeah.
So you definitely had a luxury lifestyle. How old was your children? How old were your children?
My daughter was, the first time or the second time?
The first time. I'm sorry, no, the second time.
Oh, she was an adult the second time. My daughter's 30 years old.
Okay.
So my daughter had, let me see, she was 25. Yeah.
So she was 25, but you were married. But you were married. How long had you been married?
1998.
Okay, so you guys had been with one another for quite a long time.
Quite a while. So that part wasn't a problem. My daughter wasn't a problem. It was the fact of me being away. You know, that drove me crazy. The fact that I had to go sit down again. The fact that I had to sit down at 40 years old. You know, that's what drove me crazy.
So did it affect any of your relationships with your family at all?
No.
Okay.
My family's always been 10 toes down with me. And sometimes that was the problem. You know, those are called enablers. So that that was sometimes the problem, because they was always 10 toes down with me regardless of what I did, you know. And they I can't curse on here, can I? Hey, they hid a lot of my BS. You know,
I got you.
They hid a lot of it and they cleaned up a lot of it, you know. And they made sure that I stayed clean. But I will say, I want to say this, God works in mysterious ways. I sat down in that nightclub one night and I asked God, take this away from me, get me out of this life. I had no direction. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew that the debt collection game, where I made almost $30,000 a month, I knew that was over with, because they had changed all the collection laws. There's only so much you can say to a person over the phone now without being sued. You know, back in the day, we can call you and say just about anything to you to get you to pay your money. Nowadays, it's pretty please would you pay your bill. It's more customer service. So it wasn't making any money anymore. I had no direction in life. I just knew I had a nightclub and I'm making good money, but I can't go on dates. I can't go to the movies. I can't go to comedy shows. I can't go to concerts. I can't do anything because I got to be at this place at 5 p.m. and I'm there at 3 a.m, 6 nights a week. And I'm drinking every night too because I'm right there with all of the alcohol. And I'm getting fat because I'm eating all the chicken wings and fried foods out of the kitchen. So, you know, blood pressure through the roof because I'm drinking every night. I'm partying every night. I'm traveling, you know, whenever I can, whenever I get, you know, my sister or somebody to cover the club for me. So, you know, I was living a horrible life then. And I sat down one day and I didn't know, I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but it seemed more complicated than what I was ready for at the time. I had an idea in my head what I wanted to do, and actually I'm executing it right now as we speak. But I said verbally what I want to do as a trade-off of this club life, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. And I just prayed to God, take this away from me. And my pride is like through the roof. So I didn't want it taken away by way of failure, because I didn't want anybody to say Reggie's Club closed because he had no business, because it flopped. But I wanted it taken away. And God surely he took it away by way of the federal government when it came for those taxes.
My goodness.
Took it away. Right. He took it away.
Okay, so how many years did you get?
Oh, I didn't get any years that time. They gave me 15 months. It's a white collar crime, taxes.
Okay.
Oh, I got 15 months in federal prison for it. I served 10 months.
Okay.
You know,
Leaf King has another good question. He wants to know, did anything scary happen in your club? Like, was there any violence in your club or anything like that?
There was never any violence inside of my club because my security stayed on point. There was violence outside of my club.
Okay.
So, you know, when people get outside, people fight on it. I've had fights on the inside, but none of that was ever scary or anything. You know, they're going to fight, security break it up and put them out the club. But, you know, when they get outside, what are they going to do? They're going to go to the car and get the guns. And that's where everything happened. You know, that's the reason they was barking up my tree the way they were, because, you know, people decided to get outside and they wanted to shoot the block up afterwards.
Wow.
But nobody was ever actually shot or killed or anything like that. I don't know if they shoot in the air or bad aim or what, but nobody was ever actually shot.
You know what? Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the part of your story that I find absolutely remarkable. Mm-hmm. So you go to prison for the second time for tax evasion. Okay. And in there, you learn something that blows your mind, that takes you on a trajectory that is really powerful. What is that?
Well, the trucking industry.
Okay.
What I learned while I was in there. That was kind of on my mind before I left. But before, while I was in there, I met a guy in there. He was an older guy. Usually when you have older men in the federal system, it's for something dealing with children. Yeah, that's a known fact in the federal system. When you have older men in there, especially older Caucasian men or foreigners, they're usually in there for something dealing with the computer and children, like child pornography and, you know, type of deal, or child crimes is what they're usually in there for, or affiliated with the mafia of some sorts. Mafia or mob families. So I had an older guy that was in there. He was very quiet, never talked to anybody. He barely spoke English, and he exercised every day. And I noticed him doing this for about 6 months by himself. And I decided to be nosy and go and get in his business, and I'm so glad that I did. I went and befriended him and asked what he was in there for. And he told me money laundering, that his brothers were laundering money through his business. I asked him what type of business did he have. He told me that he had a trucking company. And I said, man, how can you launder millions of dollars through a trucking company? You know, I said, that's dumb. That you easily get caught. Trucking companies don't make that much money. This guy told me that he owned 5 trucks, and those 5 trucks made him $1 million per year. And I didn't believe him, so I started doing research because, you know, and we got computers and books and all that good stuff in there. And I called home to my family and had them to send me literature on trucks. And I saw there was good money in the industry. And also, when his wife sent his tax forms in for him to do his taxes and sign everything, he needed help reading. So he called me because I befriended them. And I actually saw what this guy was making $1 million plus per year with these 5 trucks. Me being the entrepreneur that I am, that's all that I needed to hear. So I started.
That's amazing.
I started studying trucking at that point. I read all the books that I could on trucking. Fast forward, I
have to say this. I want my young men to know, young women too, but men are kind of more attracted to the trucking industry. That is a legitimate business. It is legal, and it is growing by leaps and bounds.
Yes.
It really is. That's something to consider.
I see memes on Facebook all the time, and people making funny comments. They say all of the ex-drug dealers are not truck drivers.
Really?
And that's what they say all the time on social media, and I find it kind of funny because it's halfway true, and the money is kind of equivalent. You know, the money's equivalent. It's really good money out there in the trucking industry. And, I got out on a Thursday, and by that Monday, I was in truck driving school 4 days later.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in truck driving school. Got out Thursday, Friday, filled my paperwork out, and I got approved. And I paid for truck driving school, and then Monday I was starting class. And
how long was the class?
The class ranged anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, but it took me 6 weeks.
Okay.
I wasn't mechanically inclined at the time. I knew nothing about under the hood of a car, truck, and nothing else. I couldn't point out nothing under the hood of a car but a battery at that time. So
you know what? Fair enough. You learned it. It doesn't matter. You learned it.
Right. So it took me a while to catch on, and I failed the test a couple of times. And I passed the test right by my 6th week. And plus, I wasn't in a hurry to get out of truck driving school anyway, because out of prison, you come out of the federal prison, they send you to the halfway house. Where you have to live in the halfway house for a period of time before they transition you to home. And by me going to school every day from 6 in the morning to 5 in the evening, that was an opportunity for me to get out of that halfway house and not be stuck sitting in there and socialize with people. So I kind of used that as an excuse too to take my time through school to give me some out time to get me away from those caliber of people who were mentally still in prison or mentally still in the streets. And I knew that I was totally done. So I didn't even want to be around those people. So by me being in school, it helped me get out of that environment because it's still.
So how long did you have to spend time in the halfway house?
3 months. I had to stay there 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and that 90 days, that time in the halfway house is actually harder than being actually in prison because there's so much temptation because you're so close to the streets and you have so much freedom, but you have to check back into this place every night to sleep, knowing that your house is within miles from there. Your comfortable house, your comfortable bed, your family is miles from where you have to actually sleep. And they let you out to go to your family every day, but you have to come back to this place to sleep. So the temptation, the temptation was crazy. You know how many times I came home and laid in my bed and ate a nice meal and was tempted not to go back to that place. Come 8 o'clock, you got to get out of your own bed to go sleep in the bunk. Down on Kings Island.
So don't they call that the workhouse? Is that what they call it?
No, it's the halfway house. No, not
the halfway house? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So now you're building this truck driving dream where you got this whole fleet of trucks where you're slowly building it up. You got yourself a couple of drivers, you're bringing in nice money. but then that serial entrepreneur comes up again.
Yeah, well, we haven't finished with the truck driving thing yet.
I'm sorry. Give me more.
Let's go back to that. I just want to give people a sense of how easy it is and how they can actually do it.
Okay.
I finished truck driving school. By the grace of God, he was really with me on this one. I got out of school and went to work for Anheuser-Busch as a truck driver. There's no way, being 6 weeks out of prison, still on parole, that Anheuser-Busch should have touched me at all.
Wow.
But they did, and they knew what was going on with my background. I went to work for Anheuser-Busch in maybe August of 2017. Out of school. I worked my butt off 6 days a week, running that truck up and down the highway. I wasn't spending any money. I wasn't hanging out. I wasn't hanging with my friends. I did pretty much nothing but worked. And oh yeah, I got the way I got hired at Anheuser-Busch. It wasn't all me. I was referred by my friend Jabbar. When Jabbar told me he was driving trucks, also when I told him what I was going to school for, I told him, "Get me." He'll tell you this. We just talked about this. I told him, I said, "Get me hired at Anheuser-Busch. Since you're working there, you're supposed to have your own truck. Teach me the trucking game, and I'll teach you business. Get me hired there, and I guarantee I'm gonna make sure that you own a truck." That's what I told him. Jabbar also has 3 trucks now.
All right now, Jabbar.
Oh yeah, we talk every day. We on the phone every day talking and working out the logistics of our trucking companies. But after working for 7 months for Anheuser-Busch, I told you, Bill, I know enough. It's time. And I leaped out on faith. I prayed about it, talked to my family about it, and I leaped out on faith and popped into a truck dealership. And they gave me hell because I only had 7 months experience, but I forced the issue. Give me a truck. I'm ready. I know business, and I'm going to learn more about this trucking. I purchased that truck. A month later, I convinced my friend to quit Anheuser-Busch and told him it was time for him to get a truck too. I put him in a truck with me. We ran that truck 24 hours a day for 30 days. And we made $60,000 in those 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah. We split that money and he went and bought his truck. And that was February 9th of 2018 is when I bought my first truck.
Wow. So I mean, I see the camaraderie. I see God's hand in your life, you know, because it really was the grace of God.
Oh yeah. I'm in church every Sunday now. At that point is me and God and family. I'm back hanging with my friends a little bit because I love to travel, so I couldn't keep that out of my system. But I had a lot of God in me at that time. I had a lot of God. I woke up praying. I went to sleep praying because I know how easy it is for me to fall into a trap. I know how easy it is because I'm already popular in St. Louis because of the nightlife that I had. Everybody knew me. Now this guy come home and he flips his life. And as my sisters say, I'm the king of reinventing myself.
Yeah.
So I then came home and I reinvented myself. Now I'm totally legal and I own trucks and I got people coming at me, which is the devil, several different ways. So now I got both feet in church now because I can't fall off and get high again. I can't fall off into a woman trap.
Right.
You know, I got a trap.
Fast women, fast cars, and fast drugs. That's what you were doing.
Yes. You know, I had to leave a lot of people alone that I rode motorcycles with. I had to cut each and every one of them off, with the exception of maybe two. You know, the rest of them cut completely off, still to this day. So
you know what? You got to have boundaries. I was having a conversation with just another group of people that I'm friends with, and at the end of the day, if you don't have boundaries, anybody will just walk in and out your life. bringing whatever kind of, yes, that they're dealing with.
Yeah, you got to make yourself unavailable. You really do. You have to make yourself unavailable, and you have to set boundaries. And then when you reach a certain status in life, everybody loves you in the beginning because they see the progress that you're making. And then when you jump past them too far to where they can't reach back and touch you, then they hate you. So now you have to start watching them. And that's the point that I'm at in my life now, to where I have to actually watch people, and I pray over people a lot.
That's good.
I pray over people. I pray for people, even the people that I have to watch, because at any day, Reginald Smith, the businessman, will revert back to Reggie D, that guy from prior to 2016.
Don't do it.
And that's what I tell people. That's why I pray so much, because I can't go back to that guy. Because it's been times when I have to tell people, I'm still that guy. I'm still that guy from St. Louis. I'm still that guy from the streets. So don't try me, because I would take this business cap off. But I'm saying that verbally, but I'm praying to God at the same time. God, please don't make me have to do that. Remove me from this situation. Remove this person from my life. Diffuse this situation, because I don't want that no more than God does. I don't want it. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems from anybody, whether it be business, personal, or anything. Family, friend, foe. I want no issues, so I pray constantly.
Amen.
Yeah.
You want to know something? And it's really not about perfection. One of my favorite people in the Bible is David, because he was a man after God's own heart.
Yes.
And he made so many wise choices, but he made some treacherous choices too. I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah.
But from what you were saying is this, when David went to war, and he could have very well, he was running from Saul, because Saul was out to get him, right? He was so close to Saul that he was able to cut the hem of his clothing, okay? But in submission to God, in submission to authority, he spared him. And so when you were talking, that is what I heard in my heart. It is important for you to spare those people who are coming against you, because in God's timing, if you just let him handle it, he will do one or two things. Either he will save them and lift them up to the point where they are no longer a threat, or he will take care of them in a way that they're no longer a threat.
Right. And I wouldn't care either way. I just want them removed out of my life, and I'll continue to pray for them.
We just have to pray.
He decides to handle them.
We have to pray them away.
Yeah.
We have to pray them away.
Yes. So, I've been at that point in my life for a while now with a lot of people, and I had to minimize my circle and the people that I deal with. And I've taken the trucking game to a whole nother level, because when I first wanted to go to school, a lot of people go to truck driving school for free. They go on grants. Yeah, they go on grants. You can go to truck driving school right now in most cities and say, hey, I want to go to school. They're going to have you fill out some paperwork. They're going to have a trucking company basically sponsor you and pay for your trucking school. In exchange for that, you have to come and drive for them for 1 year to pay that tuition back. That's the way that it goes. Now, with me, I didn't have that luxury. Okay. I didn't have that luxury at all. They pretty much told me, hey, because you're a convicted felon, because you just got out of prison, you can come to truck driving school, but we're not going to pay for it. We're not paying for that schooling, so you have to figure it out.
How much did it cost you?
$4,600 is what it cost. So by them not sponsoring me and not paying for my schooling, I had to pay cash for it.
Okay.
And everybody doesn't have that luxury of paying cash for school.
You're right.
And because of that, I have so many guys that are watching me right now And that's another reason I try to do the right thing, because there are a lot of eyes on me. A lot of people are looking up to me and what I'm doing right now. And they're applauding me because they know where I came from. And the ones that don't know my background, at least, you know, the least amount they know is that, hey, this guy got out of prison a couple of years ago, and now he's probably one of the most prominent people that they know, or one of the most prominent guys here in St. Louis, business-wise. Wow. And people know that, and they say, hey, I want to do this. I want to go to truck driving school, but I got a felony. I've been to prison, or I've been on probation, and I call the school and they say because my felony is not 10 years old, they won't accept me.
Wow.
And I got tired of hearing that. So my trucking company is called All Brothers Logistics. All Brothers Logistics.
That's beautiful. I hear, you know, when you were talking to me, I heard a couple of things. Okay. One of them was a Tupac song that said, "All eyes on me."
Hey, and because these people want to go to school, and I see a lot of these brothers out here who want to get out of the streets or want to do better for them and their family, I started a scholarship program.
Yes, let's hear about it. I want to hear about it.
It's Reggie Lee Scholarship Program. Mo wants to talk about the scholarships. My scholarship actually provides schooling for men or women who have been incarcerated or have had felonies, and they want to go to truck driving school. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, instead of you going through the school, you go through me. And bossinguptrucking.com is my website.
Okay. Somebody write that in for us. bossinguptrucking.com.
Yeah,
put it in a private chat. I'll put it up for you.
BOSSIN, bossinguptrucking.com. That's my website where I actually teach the class on the A to Z of becoming a trucking entrepreneur. But you can also send me a message on there about the scholarship program. Right now, I've done 3 already.
Okay.
I'm spread out. I'm out right now to like maybe October, November, somewhere in there. But my program allows people to go to school and not have to worry about being turned down because of their felony conviction. And instead of them going to work for the larger trucking companies, they would actually come work for me for a year in exchange for that tuition being paid off. They'll take care of their tuition and basically reimburse my company for the scholarship that I'm providing. That's in a nutshell. So it's basically giving back to the community. And I decided to do that after I did a motivational speaking event where I was the keynote speaker called The Recipe of the Food a couple of months ago. Basically telling people how to get into entrepreneurship, how to get funding, how to market yourself, and how to start a business on a shoestring budget, because I've done that many times. People think it takes money to start a business. I was damn near broke when I started all of my businesses, and all of them succeeded. It did very well. It's about how you manage the business and the money once you get started.
Okay. So how do you get funding for a business? How does that happen?
How do I get funding for a business?
Yeah, how does that happen?
That guy up there.
Okay.
I prayed my way into businesses. When I started, it's a lot of networking too. When I started my club, I started from scratch. I reached out to friends. I rented a space that wasn't a club. I reached out to friends who were carpenters. I reached out to people who had hookups on the liquor. Different things like that to get me started. And once I got started, it's like the street game once again. I'll take it back there. Once I opened up that first night, and you promote your butt off, you have a banging first night, don't spend a dime of that money. You take that money and you put it right back in to buy more liquor to get you going that next night. I was living night to night with a couple of my clubs getting started. I would take that money from the first night to go buy more liquor and I kept re-upping like that, with my food and my my liquor, and to the point to where it sustained itself. It was self-sustainable. And before you know it, I was up there, making a lot of money in it. And the same way with trucking, when I got my truck, I saved $4,000 from working at Anheuser-Busch. I didn't have a dime to my name for repairs. I barely had money to drive that truck back from Indianapolis back to St. Louis. I went up there with $4,300. I put $4,000 down in that truck. That other $300 got me back to St. Louis. And I came back and started booking loads and made money to make that company sustain itself. And I prayed to God, please don't let me have a breakdown on this truck in the next 6 months. I prayed because I didn't have any money for repairs. If that truck broke down, I didn't have a dime for repairs. You know, and by the grace of God, and I bought a truck that had no warranty. Basically,
whoa!
I bought an 18-wheeler from a buy here, pay here place with no warranty, and I prayed.
Did you say buy here, pay here?
What's that?
Did you say buy here, pay here?
I really did. Yeah. I bought my first truck. I bought from a buy here, pay here truck lot in Indianapolis, and I prayed that truck into success. And Big Red is sitting outside right now in my driveway making me a whole lot of money. The same truck. And I have newer trucks now, and people ask me, why don't you get in one of those new trucks and put one of your drivers in that old truck that you bought when you first got started? Never.
Okay. That's your baby, huh?
That's my baby. I almost got 1 million miles on that truck, and she runs for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I got her loaded up now, getting ready to go to Chicago at 5 in the morning.
All right now. All right now. You know what's going? Look, this is the song that's going through my head now. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Hey, I'm not there yet. I'm trying to get there. Now I have another business that I started. Yeah. Another. How much time we got?
You want to know something? This is purposely a deep dive, so we got time.
Okay. I got another business that I started, and everybody knew about this business. This business, my trucking company, I would say, is my bread and butter. All of my trucks took me over the top. Just got another truck actually a few weeks ago that I put my son in. I sent him a truck. He went to truck driving school, and he finished before I did. He went in the 1st of April. He was done April 22nd. And he got his license, him and my brother. I made him go to school together to watch each other, to make sure both of them succeeded. So, Jared, my son Jared, my little brother Coco, I sent both of them to school. Both of them finished school. I got one of them in a truck now, and I'll have my little brother in the truck within 30 days, and that'll give me number 4. You remember what the guy told me? 5 of them, you're at $1 million now.
There you go now.
A year at 5. I'm at number 4. I'll be at number 4 in a couple of weeks actually. So fast forward, the pandemic hit. The pandemic hit was my reason for being lazy because the trucking industry boomed during the pandemic. But I had other trucks on the road that was moving for me, and they was all across the country making money. I decided that I didn't want to go out for 2 reasons. One, I didn't know what this pandemic was about. And I know we hit different cities, different truck stops, different warehouses. And I didn't want to fall victim to what was going on before I, found out what was going on. And number 2, it gave me a reason to be lazy and play around my house a little bit.
Okay.
So, I took about a month off of work. And I built me a patio set. I started a garden in the backyard. I had a swimming pool installed. I just did a lot of playing around my yard to make my house a real chill spot. My backyard is beautiful. Also during that time, I had my friends who's, everybody sitting around eating and cooking and bored and off work and doing nothing. Hey, why don't you make some of those pure wings you used to make? Make some of those wings. My cousin died. Can you make some wings for the repast? My sister's getting married. Can you make some wings for the reception? Or my little cousin's brother's birthday. Can you make some of those pure heat wings? And people constantly on my stats on Facebook asking for some pure heat wings. So he said the sauce balls. Yes, sir. So with that being said, I said to myself one day, I said, these people don't want those wings. Anybody can cook some chicken wings. They want that sauce that's on those wings. So I said, let me try something. I jumped on Amazon and ordered 12 empty bottles and 12 caps. And I made a little makeshift label that I had some guy to design, a flyer guy to design me a label.
Okay.
I slapped them on those bottles, whipped up some of that sauce in my kitchen.
Uh-huh.
I put a picture of it on Facebook and say, hey man, I got some of that pure heat, the pure ultra lounge sauce for sale.
Yeah.
And people was pulling up at my house within 5 or 10 minutes, and the ones that couldn't make it said, hey, I'll be out working a couple hours, save me a couple of bottles.
Wow.
That sauce didn't make it a day. It didn't make it through the day. So I jumped on Amazon and ordered 12 more bottles. They made it another day. As soon as they came, it was right back out the door again. I said, let me order 100 bottles and see what this do. You know, and I said, I'm gonna be so mad if I order 100 bottles and I can't sell this sauce. I ordered 100 bottles and I think I sold those 100 bottles in about 48 hours.
Wow.
I said, I think I'm on to something here. I'm getting ready to make me some money, man. I'm getting ready to hustle this sauce. So I ordered another 100 bottles. They lasted 24 hours. And after that 100 bottles, I looked around my kitchen. I noticed I got sauce splashes on my walls, on my TV, and I got sauce splashes everywhere. So I said, man, I'm messing up my kitchen doing this, but I'm making a little extra money. So I said, let me go and jump out there and be that entrepreneur that I know that I am in that rich table. I ordered 1,000 bottles, probably the 4th time. I had my friends, my son, I had everybody over here bottling up sauce.
I love it.
I sold that sauce in about a week, those 1,000 bottles. So now I'm running probably about 1,000 bottles a week for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I met a guy. Well, I had a friend who said, I asked her, I said, man, how can I get this sauce in some stores? That was one question I had. And then I got some of my close friends saying, hey man, you better stop having all these people come to your house to pick that sauce up. You don't want all these people knowing where you live. You know, 'cause I'm doing okay in the trucking business and my life is evolving and my financial status is evolving. I don't want all these people at my front door because we're still in St. Louis at the end of the day.
Right.
So I went around to the little corner store around the corner and asked them if they would start carrying my sauce for me. He agreed to it. And now I got people on the south side saying, hey, when you go get some sauce over this way? So I go to the store on the south side and get a store over there to agree to it after he tasted it. And, you know, I'm bouncing around the city letting these different store owners taste my sauce. And they're agreeing to put my sauce in their stores. So we'll fast forward a little further. I ended up having to hire a PR person. She did an excellent job here in St. Louis, getting me the publicity that needed. Elizabeth Danielle. She did a great job with Channel 2, Channel 5, Real STL News, St. Louis American, Sauce Magazine, Feast Magazine. She got me in a lot of those magazines. Some I did on my own through jumping over her because I'm very serious at what I do. So, you know, I got ADHD, but she got me pretty much in a lot of, you know, a lot of the media, in front of a lot of media. And I had a great videographer and photographer as well who kept it on display, and he kept me looking good out there in the videos and the commercials, so that further pushed it over the edge. I got to give shouts out to all these guys. Rob Ruger had me right in the videography department, and I had a great back office who kept me going while I was on the road, because I was doing all this while driving that 18-wheeler.
All right now.
I reached out to a young lady, or I don't know exactly how the story went, but I reached out to somebody, or somebody reached out to me, a friend reached out to me through Facebook and said, hey, your sauce is doing good. I hear you in all these stores. You might want to reach out to this one guy. It's another black guy here in St. Louis who has a barbecue sauce who can probably help you. His name is Freddie Lee. You know, Freddie Lee, he got the ghetto sauce in all of the stores. So that's what it's called. It's called ghetto sauce. He's in over 1,200 stores.
Okay.
So I pulled his website up, and there was a phone number on there. I said, let me call this number. I'll probably get his office and leave a message. He might get back with me, and he might not. I called the number. It was his cell phone number. So he told me, he said, yeah, I got a whole plan. Come to the plant and talk to me. And when I went and talked to him, he took me to, he's basically my mentor. He took me to a whole different level in the game, but he's in the generation, he's a generation older than me.
Okay.
So the combination of what he taught me and what we do now in our generation with social media. Because at social media genre, he's all hand and foot. He got out there and did actual footwork.
Right.
Us nowadays, we can press a button and make it happen. On a computer, and that's what I was doing. He was teaching me, I was pressing buttons, making it happen. So I'm moving at a rapid pace. It was two things that I dreamed of, two desires with this sauce. Number one was to get in Schnucks, because that's the store we all know as kids. That's what we went grocery shopping at. Right. If your family had money, you went to Schnucks. If your family didn't have money, you going to Aldi's. So being a '70s baby, that's what you relate that to. You got So I said, hey, I need my sausage and Schnucks. If I get my sausage and Schnucks, hey, that's a touchdown right there. I've done it all. I've completed my life. So and to be on Fox 2 News with Steve Azell or Kim, those two completed my life. And and eventually Elizabeth Dyer got me on Fox 2 News a few months ago. I was ecstatic about that. And I started selling my sauces down in Soulard's, down at the farmer's market downtown. And they're saying, be kind to everybody because you never know who you might run into.
Absolutely.
Always be kind to everybody, okay? So I'm sitting at home one day watching Fox 2 News. Something came on Fox 2 News that Schnucks was seeking out minority-owned businesses to start selling and displaying their products.
Okay.
And the CEO of Schnucks was on there talking about this, and his name flashed across the screen. When his name flashed across the screen, I grabbed my computer, I put my collection skills to work. And I did. I skip traced this guy, is what we call it in the collection world. That's basically finding somebody, finding out their information. Man, I sat there and dug so deep, I had this man's wife's cell phone number. I had his cell phone number, his wife's, all of his kids' names, his email address. I found everything. But boss to another boss, CEO to CEO, I did the proper thing. I emailed the guy. I didn't call him even though I had his cell phone number. I emailed the guy. I told him about my sauce. I gave him my spiel. I told him it was the best sauce in St. Louis, the best sauce in the country, and it's gonna wipe everything else off his shelves. Let's go back to what I said. Be careful who you step on and always be nice to everybody.
Right.
This guy emailed me back. The CEO of Schnucks emailed back 5 minutes later and said, he said, it's funny that you emailed me because my assistant bought your sauce down at Soulard's Market last week and said it was excellent.
That is so awesome.
They had already had my sauce. So he said, I'm going to put you in touch with the category manager for the sauces and condiments, and we're going to get you on the shelves. That was in January.
Is amazing.
That was in January. Now, I went to the Dominican Republic a couple of weeks later. That was a wacky trip because I lost my granny while I was there, and that was my heart. Yeah, that was my heart. That was my baby. But while I was gone, during the time of her transitioning, and I was going through that hard time, I checked my email, and Schnucks placed an order for 305 cases of my sauce.
Wait, 305 cases? How many bottles is that?
305 times 12.
Okay. Wow.
It was a lot of sauce.
Somebody do that math out there for us. Help us out. That's a lot of sauce.
I ran to my mentor, Freddie, and showed him the email where they wanted 305 cases. He told me, he said, most people that get in Schnucks, they start you off in about 4 or 5 stores to see how it does before they put you in all the stores. 305 cases put me in all 99 Schnucks locations immediately.
That's amazing.
Yes. Now, fast forward, every month, thanks to the support of St. Louis, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys.
Look at that.
3660. Okay.
Yes, they're letting us know. Thank you, family. Thank you, family.
Yeah, thank all 3,660 of y'all for buying that sauce when it first hit the shelves. They was tagging me every time somebody made a purchase. They're from Ladue to Chesterfield to Springfield to Kansas City to Columbia. They are in every Schnucks buying my sauce. Schnucks has placed an order every single month since I've gotten in there.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, they just placed another order about 2 days ago. I have to just pause, because if somebody missed God in that part of your story, rewind. Omnipresence.
Yes.
God. Because I'm so busy now that I don't have time to think about any of the negativity that I went through. I went to church this morning. I'm in church every Sunday that I'm not on the road. Oh, somebody just put it up there too. I forgot to mention that. Master P, the rapper.
Okay.
Master P has my sauce.
What?
I sent my sauce to Master P about a couple of months ago, and he has a review show called Master P Reviews, where he reviewed different products, Black-owned products, and he rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. And if he gives you a 10, he invests in the product. Yeah. I've only seen him give 110 since the show has been going on. That's to the guy that was working for Tesla, but he stepped to the side and started his own electric car. And, you know, that's a whole lot of money. So, of course, Master P jumped out with that. But he told me, he said, man, I'm going to try this sauce. And, you know, it better be good, because we from New Orleans. We like Creole food and hot food, you know. And I was hoping for a 10. I deserved a 10, but he gave me an 8.5. And his host gave me a 9.
Okay.
But he had my sauce in his presence. And because he had the sauce, there's a grocery store in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama called Rouse. Now, as a result of him having my sauce on his show, my sauce is now in the Rouse grocery stores down there.
Woo!
Yeah, that's where his rap snacks are sold. So that's where he originated with his rap snacks. So, you know, I kind of used that Master P review and then helped me get into those other stores down there. And he put in a good word for me with the owner of the Rouse grocery stores. And they have 65 stores in the New Orleans and in the Louisiana area. So they kind of pushed me down that way. So
that's beautiful.
That helped me get to the South.
Now, aren't you in a few Kroger's as well?
No, not Kroger's. I'm working on Kroger's right now.
You're on your way.
I'm on my way. Hy-Vee.
They coming.
Yeah, I'm in Hy-Vee stores. Save a Lot over on the east side.
Okay.
And I'm in about 250 stores now.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I'm in stores in St. Charles, Wildwood. I'm in 2 stores in Dallas, Wyoming. I got a new. I'm in Las Vegas now. I'm in a store in Las Vegas as of last.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep it hot.
I have a store right now that I'm working on in Denver and Fort Collins, Louisiana, Colorado. I'm getting ready to hit those stores. And somebody's dropping.
You got BP, yeah, BP.
I'm in a BP. I'm in Kendrick's Meat Market, Save a Lot, Hot Sauce Works, Max's Meat Market, J&J Market in Florissant. I mean, it's just Salama's down in the city on Kings Highway. It's just so many to name. And you know, God has been blessing this business. And I tell him every day, God, this is your business. It's not mine, it's yours. This is my vision, but I work everything through God with this business. And
wait a minute, let's talk about In-N-Out. Your sauce is at In-N-Out?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know who that is, but they got all my stores. They dropping them all in there.
Wait a minute, you're not the only person that can do a lookup, you know?
Yeah, right. So they Now, you know, if you go to my website, stlpureheat.com, and click on locations, all the store locations come on.
Okay. Somebody already said they wanted
the
that
Big Top
sauce.
Flea Market. Yeah, we're in the Big Top Flea Market. I'm actually in the Galleria as well. You know.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, Papa Bubbles in the Galleria also. The Galleria Mall also has sauce. Thanks, Lee King. I just want to show it to y'all, for y'all that's not familiar with it. You know, Pure Heat gourmet sauce. That's what it looks like. This
All
is
right now.
sweet. This is the sweet and spicy.
Okay.
All right. It's doing what it do, and it's
Lee King is gonna order some of the garlic kind.
Yeah, that garlic heat is my best seller. You're gonna love it. And
all right now.
Another business venture that I'm working on and I'm so proud of, and my good friend Seldom C been telling me this for months to do this, and it's finally coming to fruition. I have a Pure Heat garlic heat potato chip that's getting ready to drop.
Ooh-wee.
Hey, I'm coming for Master P.
There you go.
Hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Why not? You know.
You know what? I'm seeing a taste test with you and Master P.
Great minds, man. Great black business. You know, and I tell people all the time, and I tell these young people all the time when I do my motivational speaking events, I tell them everybody bleeds the same way. Everybody's mind works the same way if you apply yourself. If one person can do it, so can you. If I see somebody else do something, you ain't gonna tell me I can't do it. You know, if I put my mind to it, I can do brain surgery. You know,
all right.
I can do whatever I put my mind to it. Everybody else can too. You know, we are black kings. We are black queens. We are destined for greatness. We are great people, man. You know, those tribes, those 12 tribes, we are there. That's us.
12 tribes of Israel.
Yes, yes.
This is what I want to know.
Yep.
This is what I want to know. What has God been telling you? What has God been telling you for his people?
Stay the course, and I always say push. Pray until something happens.
Yeah, there you go. That's popular.
My motto. I have a cookbook as well.
Okay.
And in the back of my cookbook, the very last page, that motto was there, that quote is there: push, pray until something happens. Because that's what I always do. If all else fails, man, if I'm down, if that ADHD is kicking in, you know, if I'm feeling depressed, I get depressed if I'm not making any progress with this sauce. If I go too many weeks without getting